I don't know if I was. Oh, we're actually going. Damn. I don't know if I should say what I was going to say on stream. But anyways, welcome to the greatest colloquium campus in existence.
No, I'm gonna start timing you.
Huh?
I'm gonna start timing you.
Oh, I'm here with the boys. Wait, there was another thing I used to say. Triumvirate. Shit, fuck.
Triumvirate?
Triumvirate. There we go. Fucking triumvirate of terror. We have the Red Dead Baron of Dread. I like that. The Red Dead Baron of Dread. The human calculator with the numerical nomenclature. Raytron. Uno. Dos. Tres. Yeah, Raytron is bilingual. So, again, those bilingual ladies, habla inglés, man. He's perfect.
Yeah, go shoot your shot with him.
All you were saying is I don't speak English, so I'm somehow bilingual, but I don't speak English.
He speaks Portuguese.
I speak Portuguese.
Portuguese
and what?
Portuguese.
Spanish and Portuguese.
Yeah, he speaks Portuguese, Spanish, and normal Spanish.
That's a certain dialect of Spanish, right? Nah.
Man, he just got us canceled in the Philippines. Not the Philippines. Oh my god. Where am I?
Oh my god. Wow.
Portuguese.
In
Brazil.
That's what you get.
That's
he was trying to throw me under the bus.
He canceled himself.
Anyways, I have a man with a plan and the ultimate Shocker fan. You get that? See, instead of Nas fan? Because you like Shocker so much.
Yeah, man.
Nas fan, the electric joke, EJ.
They're going to make that movie.
They're going
to make a movie.
Yeah, that lives rent-free in my head, the fact that you're such a big fan of Shocker. I literally have never heard anyone say that in my entire life. Like,
bro, the PS2 Shocker game, well, it wasn't a game, but like PS2 Shocker was cool. He was a
changed lives.
Bitch, bro. He was a bitch ass boss too. When you had to swing through the fucking the tunnels, and he was just a big ass blast energy, and it's a PS2 control, so you gotta go left or right to dodge it, and you would just miss because the fucking controls suck. And it's like, I fucking hate this guy. And then you get over to him, and he beats your ass, and you gotta do that shit again. Fuck that nigga, bro. Fuck that shit.
Yeah, but it's like, you see all those, whenever people talk about Spider-Man villains, they always talking about, you got Venom,
never heard of him.
Goblin, Electro, Rhino.
Rat-ass motherfuckers, bro. It was
Nobody
Shocker.
talks about Vulture either, really.
Nah, I fucks with the Vulture. It's that nigga Kingpin.
Kingpin definitely gets talked about.
You remember Joe?
Nah.
You don't remember Joe? How you don't remember Joe?
Who that? Who that?
I'm glad you understand. You understand. It's okay. I'm not gonna do it.
I see what you want to do. I see what you want to do. Thank you for sparing me. Thank you for sparing me.
Steve Jobs died of ligma. Who the fuck is Steve Jobs?
Come on, I thought we elevated past them kind of jokes, man. Come on.
Of course not, bro. Of course not. Those jokes are peak. Those are the only real jokes left.
I'm telling you, the Steve Jobs died of ligma thing is still the fun. That shit lives rent free in my head. That shit was so funny. It's the cadence of his voice, like how deep it sounds. He's like this otherworldly, godly being. That's what he sounds like. He's like, Steve Jobs died of ligma. And the other part I find so funny about it is that Zorro understandably does not know who Steve Jobs is. Because why the fuck would he? They literally live in like another universe, and they're in pirate times. It's like, why the fuck would Steve Jobs be around, Funny stuff. But anyways, what I was going to say, one more thing before I move on. Vulture is a really cool villain because the man is literally angry that people underestimate him because he's old. Like, that's his whole backstory. That's why he became a villain.
That's dumb as fuck. But that's some comic book goofiness right there. He's like, why are you evil? Because I'm old and people don't respect me anymore. It's like, dude, that's it?
Respect your elders.
Is it? You committing crime because people thought the 65-year-old nigga couldn't commit crime?
He got fired from his job and shit.
Well, yeah, because he was old. He was retirement age. He's like, well, I don't want to retire. He's like, Nah, just go home and do anything else. Go away, please.
He did do something else. He made himself some fucking wings and started committing crime. That's some Scooby Doo shit. That's one of the funniest things about Scooby Doo to me. These people will be, my house is going into foreclosure. Time to build a complex suit of armor and walk around pretending to be a zombie or some shit, or a fucking werewolf, and try to murder people. Because those monsters don't just be playing around. They be throwing like giant barrels at the gang and stuff. Like,
Bro,
yo, you
they
really?
be straight up trying to murder these kids, bro.
They be having normal jobs. They be lawyers, fucking work an accountant, doctors. It's just like, damn, you an upstanding
Bro,
citizen, bro.
it's
Why are you doing this?
bro, it just highlights the issue that is prevalent today. Most of the time, it was over real estate, bro. It was like, look, man, the bank was coming for the property, and I was just trying to make no one want it, so I could get it for cheap.
Yeah.
That was most of the villains. It was like, yeah, this shit's expensive. Please.
That's why there's a fan theory that Scooby-Doo takes place in a post-apocalypse, and that's why all those people were so hard stressed for cash. Like they'd experienced like a financial decline that the country never recovered from.
It just sounds like 2022 to me.
I was just about to say it sounds just like real life, doesn't it?
It's like, sounds like yesterday.
Jesus Christ.
Bro, the amount of people who are like, owning a home? That's funny.
Owning a home?
That's funny.
Yeah, owning a home.
Everyone who owns a home can buy a home, and everyone who don't got a home gotta.
But before I get into our category, I'm gonna reveal EJ what I was talking about. The secret origin of the time Raytron broke a girl's heart.
Yeah, well, before you interject in some of the bullshit he's probably gonna say, Ray, just let this man go over
let
it.
Him spit. Let him cook.
Yeah, let him cook. Let him cook. Let him cook real quick. Let him cook.
So, Raytron met this girl.
That's how you side of it.
Raytron met this girl through a dating app, right? I think it was through a dating app. And he started hanging out with her, and she told him that she just was like always complimenting him, telling him how much cool she was. Hey, look at that.
Okay.
And we fucked her a few times.
Okay.
But then he claimed she was too boring, man. He said he couldn't hold a conversation with her. She's in there worshiping him, man, adulating this man, and this man just because she wouldn't talk to him, he couldn't make conversations about certain things. He cast her ass away, sent her ass to the shadow realm. She was like this. She was like, he cast her ass away. And so Ray calling me like a jerk or something in regards to dating is rich. Is rich in my opinion.
It is so funny.
That's not
it's real funny.
How much truth is there to that?
That's not the only
real
girl
funny.
Ray's cut off at light speed. That's not the only girl Ray's cut off at light speed.
It's real funny when he. This is how he remembers it.
Yeah, you literally just found her annoying. That's what it was,
right? Bro, like literally, we hung out twice, and I was like, yeah, I can't talk to this person about anything, like nothing, bro. Like lights are on, nothing's upstairs.
That's a problem.
It wasn't even like, oh, I can't talk to them about the very niche things that I want to talk. No. There were zero. I couldn't talk to her about shit she liked. I literally asked her, she's like, "Oh man, I can't get into it." I was like, "What do you mean you can't get into it?"
I was like, "What are you doing? What are you doing in life?" Like,
I was like, "Oh, what do you like about like the show that you're watching?" He was like, "Oh man, it's just so good." It's like, "What about is good?" Just everything. I was like, "Pick one thing." Oh man, I can't do that. It's like,
Ray,
that's what it was. That's what it was.
Like, it was pulling teeth.
It was pulling teeth, and I was just like, What are we doing here?
Yeah.
You guys don't understand, man. They're not there to talk.
That's such a big part of it to me.
This man is trying to say that I'm the asshole because I couldn't have a conversation with this person. This is the things he's like, they're not there to talk. That's all I'm saying is,
bruh,
this is your king.
That's a big conflict. That's a big conflict.
This is your king.
Can't bypass that.
Women, look, even when you talk to women, I'm just going to say something right now. Ray, I know you can't disagree with this. Have you ever had a conversation with a woman that was so complex and so deep you sat there thinking about it like, wow, that was no. Don't even pretend. Do
I
not.
have had good conversations with women.
Yeah, every
I
once in
have
a while.
had good conversations with women. In fact, there's a very specific person that I specifically only talk to about certain things.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay, sure. But I'm talking like deep, in-depth conversations. Is that common with women?
I literally
Yeah.
talk to one person. If there's something I want to chat
Okay,
about, I
so
go
one
to this
person.
one specific person,
Okay,
and they
so
are a
I can agree
woman.
with that. I have one woman that I can talk to like that. Yes. And you know who she
But
is.
I'm just
I
saying,
talk to her.
because I'm saying in general, it's not like there's just men all over. There's like, time to have a deep philosophical men
No,
gather
there's all.
round. Like the
But
fuck.
you can have a very. You can say that for the most part, you can have much more interesting conversations with fellow males than you would with most women. I'm
All
talking
right.
most women.
Have
There's a
I have
comfortability there.
had enough good conversations with both genders to say it really does just depend on who the
Why are
fuck you're
you?
talking.
Why are
No. Because this nigga right
Ray
here
gets a
don't
gold
talk to
star. Ray
women,
gets a
bro.
gold star,
I
bro. He
This
gets a
do.
nigga
gold
don't
star
I
for
talk
that.
talk
to
to them every
women.
day at work. But
And
when
you
I'm talking to
despise
them,
them. All the people
when
who
I'm
works with,
talking
he
to
talks
them,
all shit about you. He hates everyone. No,
no,
I'm capping. But it's like, look, man, I'm not
Get
gonna
a
sit
gold star
here
today.
and make these generalizations.
look,
Cause
Unfair.
I'm not making
nah, cause like
generalizations.
really, what it is we have different experiences. Men and women just have different experiences growing up. So there's certain things that you can talk to easier with about like you can just talk about things easier with men because it's like a lot easier to relate to them. So there's
I
that. There's just a
I think
lot of
it's more
that
than that.
goes on.
I'm not trying to say like women are dumb or anything.
I didn't say that
Yeah,
either. I'm not
women.
even trying to say you're saying that. But it's like if I
What?
want to have certain types of conversations, there are certain types of conversations I will have better conversations with men. There's certain types
100%.
of
Yeah,
conversations I'll
yeah, yeah,
have better
yeah.
with women.
100%,
That's it.
100%. I can
That's
agree
all
with
I'm
that.
saying.
That's 100% true. Yes. But what I'm trying to say is, I just don't. I think women are very lacking in the conversation department. Just generally speaking, I think most women are very lacking
I
in the
feel
conversation
it
department.
takes a lot more effort to get them to have conversations. I'll say that.
I'll
Because a
give you
lot of
that.
them just don't want to.
No, I don't even think it's that because I have easily have conversations with women all the fucking
I'm just
time.
saying, like, I feel like
It's just the
it
willingness. It's the
it
willingness.
takes a lot more effort to get them to get to that point. Because like it's
Yeah.
not that they can't. It's just like they just don't fucking want to. Like
I'd
See,
rather
you
talk
or
about their
at
nails.
least like they don't want to have it with you.
all right?
Because like
Okay, so you know
like,
what?
like I'm not saying you as in you, it's a general you. This instigating ass motherfucker over here.
Yeah, you thought you were slick.
Because like even there's like these people that like I would not have these conversations with, but I've heard them have conversations, and it's just like they just don't want to talk to me like that for some reason, and I don't know what code you got to put in to get them to open up and have those conversations, but I've
You
heard them
see,
have the conversations.
thing is, like, I honestly do not have those experiences. I talk to women, and they will start telling me shit they should not be telling me right fucking
Same.
away.
See, but that's
Right
not the
away.
kind of talk. That's not the
Here's what I'm
shit that
trying to
we
say.
want to talk about. We're talking about
No,
those deeper conversations.
no, or I don't care about. When I say deeper conversations, I don't mean like really like, oh, let's talk about the JFK assassination or nothing like that. I mean like just like I'll be talking to these women, right? We'll be talking about a topic, and it's just like it's really hard to get them to understand the depth and nuance of things. Like I feel like I have to understand.
Give
I
an
have to
example. Give
explain
an
more.
example. Give
I
an
have to
example.
explain more to women more often than I do to men. Like especially if you're talking about something relating to social issues, you have to try really hard. Like Ray said, you have to put effort. That's what I feel like. I don't have to do this with men. You have to put effort to shake her out of the pre-programmed nonsense, the
There's men
period.
that's pre-programmed that not has nonsense that you got to shake out of too. What's the difference?
No, well, the dudes,
Well, I feel
sure,
like if
but
you're
it's
talking
not
about
as
social
hard.
issues, you're usually talking about them from the perspective of a man, right? So like they just wouldn't understand your
No,
perspective certain
even then,
times.
I will talk about things that affect women to dudes, and they understand it faster than women when I'm explaining something about males to them. They just don't. These it takes me a while to
But
get them to understand.
that's a gender specific topic. You're expecting the
No,
opposite
I'm saying
gender.
generally speaking, bro. Generally speaking, like
Oh
let's say I'm
well.
talking about the Kanye issue, right? It would be so hard to get them to see the nuance. But I will say,
What
as you're
Kanye issue?
walking them down something, then they will start to, you'll see it in their eyes. They're like, ah, okay, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Like, you really gotta, I feel like it takes way more effort to get them to see beyond the two-dimensional layers or something. But you know what? You guys might be right. Because there are some very stupid dudes out there who, like, these, what I'll say with men do this, where they, I don't know how to, they like to see things in extremes, you know, like like it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to get them to see the nuance, but like it's weird. I don't know how to explain it. It's like
I just don't know if we're having those conversations. I think that's what goes back to Ray's point. I won't necessarily say they're incapable of having them, but it's just, when do you envision a time where the situation calls for it, where you're comfortable? I mean, I guess the situation doesn't have to call for it to have a conversation. Like, there doesn't have to be some previous context, but it doesn't feel like there's this freedom to do it. Like it's an open door. Like, all right, well, let's talk about such and such. It just feels awkward if you try to get into depth about certain things, or you might feel like
maybe you have a
that
point.
you
Maybe
might feel
that's,
like she's gonna perceive you a certain way.
you know what?
Um,
You might be touching on something.
but it's not. But
Maybe,
it's not that they're incapable of having it. It's just,
no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying
yeah.
they're evil. I'm
I
saying
mean,
their
you kind of did. You
conversational
kind of
skills,
did.
their conversational skills are very lacking. And when it comes to these things, is what I say. I think it's on two layers. I think you just mentioned part of it. I think a lot of it is, I think maybe sometimes men are much quicker to want to share their opinion on something because they're less afraid. You know what I mean? And I think you're right that women are often more afraid
Yep.
to
So
share like opinions on things because one, they're probably afraid you're gonna dislike them. Women think a lot about shit like that. They really do. They really think very hard about making you dislike them. They don't want to be disliked. Even like you'll meet women who act like they're the boss bitch. Even they don't want to be disliked. When people dislike them, they'll be complaining about it and venting to me about it. I'm like, I thought you were the toughest bitch, and now here you are complaining to me about people who don't like you. And the other thing is, I think it's what Ray touched on. It's like, I don't know, man. It's like if they're not as comfortable with you, they don't want to have as deep conversations. I guess maybe that's part of it. But it's real funny because you'll meet a girl, she'll have in her bio or something, oh, I'm looking for them deep conversations. And then you start talking to her like Ray said, you're like, oh, so so you're spiritual. Yeah. What are you spiritual about? You know. It's like, what the fuck?
You know,
yeah.
they always hit you with the you know.
I was like, what the fuck? Yo, I forgot. I'll never tell you what. Yo, one thing that made me stop talking to a girl immediately. She said this shit, and I stopped talking to her. First, there was like a weird thing where I was like pulling teeth as we're texting, right? Then I forgot. I texted her this. I was like, "Oh, how was your day?" She goes. So first of all, it's fucking 10 a.m. and you guys know I wake up at like 4 a.m. So me asking this question makes sense to me, I guess, because it's already been like fucking 6 hours into the day. You know what I mean? So I asked her. I was like, "How's your day been?" She replies, she replies with a shrug emoji and goes, "It hasn't started yet." I did not reply to her again. I was like, "Yeah, whatever." Fucking smart Alec. I don't need. I don't need to. It's like, fuck you, bitch. It's like, that shit was so annoying. But enough about my
But
dollar
yeah,
store Andrew
you,
Tate
you're
rants.
you're definitely a misogynist. I think that's what we all gathered here today. Uh,
Fuck.
but man, I've had tons of those conversations. But it initially it wasn't there. It was because the relationship between me and this person had to develop over time, where I had to get to know them.
With
Um,
women, you're talking about women.
women,
Okay,
women, yes, women, and
gotcha.
eventually it was just like they were, well guarded. Uh, they have these thoughts and ideas, but they protect them.
But
It's important to them.
can I say, Ray? Generally speaking, do you think it is harder? Generally, not in your specific case, because obviously your friends are going to be easier to talk to. Like the female friends I talk to at work, super easy. But I mean, generally speaking, like I said, it's usually not that hard for me to talk to women about certain things. I don't know. I guess I have an easygoing demeanor, so it makes them comfortable. But generally speaking, can we agree that it is harder to talk to women than men? Like, let's say if you're going like even like let's say if you had to talk to a random dude as opposed to a random woman, obviously that's going to be more difficult in
Yeah,
terms of how they communicate.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's also like if I have to walk up to a random man or a random female, the intentions like my intentions are running through their head, right? So if I walk up to a random chick, she already thinks I'm trying to hit on her. Like so she's already ready not to talk to me. So but if we can say that 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 layer is no longer there, it is probably still easier to talk to a random guy than it is to a random
Yeah.
woman
Yeah.
because I do agree with what you said. It's like they just don't want to give their opinions. While niggas can't shut up about their opinions. They want to tell you straight up. There's like, oh
Yeah.
man, I was having this weird thought about fucking jelly. And they start talking to you about some stupid shit. Um, I was actually just thinking, it was like, yeah, I had some very heated arguments with people I'll never talk to again. Like, not even like I hate them or anything. It's just like I met this dude and we were just fucking arguing about some very
Yeah.
arbitrary ass topic, man.
Mm.
Just cause, just shit. Just like normal shit.
Yeah. Was it about your hairline?
Hmm. That was a heated conversation, probably.
Oh man.
Well, anyways,
Here I was
I want
having
to
a
bring up
serious
something.
conversation. This man took me right out.
I want to bring up something. Today's topic is related to something Ray brought up to me. That got me thinking. So, what do you guys think about the whole nice guys finish last? uh, you
Did we
know,
talk about this before?
we probably have, but
Maybe I don't remember, but it's true. Next question.
Next question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
why do you guys think that?
I was actually thinking about
Well,
this earlier. Like, think back to like your first like crush or whatever. Like, you generally just like enjoy a person's like time or whatever, and like that shit is lame to the opposite sex. Like a lot of times, like you just like you just want to like spend time with them and be up under them and just be like that kind of person. Like when you have those that puppy dog look, that shit's lame. That shit's whack. And like
You think women find that lame?
they will tell you they find that lame. It's not even like, oh, I think nah. Like from the shit that I've heard, like they think that shit's lame.
They think puppy dog stuff is lame.
Yeah, like they think that
I think
shit's
the real
lame.
question is how can you be nice or do something nice for a woman without it coming off as being a simp?
Oh, true. That's something we should touch on.
Well,
That's the real
that's the
question.
shit you gotta figure out through
Let me say
time.
something in regard to what Ray said. I feel like I've had the opposite experiences throughout my life. Like they wanted me to do the puppy dog love stuff, and because I wasn't doing that, they get mad at me. But I will say this: when I would now try to start making the efforts to be nice, then that's when the relationship would start to become annoying and fall apart. So it's like they were
See,
asking me to do something, then when I started doing it, they start disrespecting me.
yes, that's the shit right there, right? Like, there's that idea that they have of what they want, and there's what they actually want. And if you give them the idea of what they want, they quickly realize that's not what they want.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a conversation like this a long time ago. Something very almost exactly like this about where I was like, I think I was saying to you, I think we are in the car driving to go hang out. And I was saying to you, I was like, they have these ideas of things that they want, but it's like they haven't really thought about it and they don't actually want those things. It's just they want to want those things. Like
And like, even think about it, it's like portrayed in media, like the guy who's like doing all that like quote unquote goofy shit, right? Uh, like he's like texting them all the time. He's like I said, like all up under them, texting them, getting them stuff. That shit's a turn off. And even in media, they'll talk about that. It's like, oh my shit. They'll like talk about that shit as if it's
or
the lamest fucking thing ever, right?
you see in the media, like the love stories they always love are like well, it depends on the genre. So, like, the stuff for older women will often be like some rugged, nice guy. Like he has the bad boy look, but he's very nice at his core. That's for the older women,
Mm-hmm.
like the older women, like their 30s. That's their kind of love. They're love stories, right? But then when you look at the younger rom-coms, those shits are always about the bad boy, or he's a popular kid, and then she slowly starts to make him feel for her, and then
Yeah,
he's
that's what I'm saying. Like in those stories, they'll have the fucking goofy guy who's like there the whole time, right? Who's just being like nice to them,
yeah.
and they hate that shit. They're like, oh, he was only being nice to her for like XYZ, and it was like, or he was just nice to her because he liked her, right? It's like that's never an option. Being nice to a girl because you genuinely just like them, never an option. They're always nice to you because they want something. And I was like, but that bad boy was literally only talking to that girl because he was trying to crack. Like he even said that on screen when the
Yeah,
main girl is not
yeah.
her earshot.
The
But you
main,
know,
the main, yeah, the main girl walked past him. He turned straight to the camera. And was like, "I'm
There's
only trying
there's nothing wrong with the bad boy having intentions, but when the goofy guy in the corner that's just genuinely nice has intentions,
which
but he want to
that's
do
the other thing is
something.
like, so he's nice, but he also is like trying to date her. It's like
Yeah,
what's wrong with that? What's wrong with
a
that?
guy can't have intentions. Like fuck, can't have intentions.
He's
We
like,
all got
yes,
we
I am trying to date you. That is why I'm being nice to you. It's like, oh,
we
you're
all
only
want
nice to me to
things.
date me. It's like, do you want
Okay,
me to not be
Yeah,
nice to you? Like, is
I can
that how I get
understand.
you? Like, it's
I can understand a woman thinking it's kind of skeevy that he's being nice to her with that intention. Because like if he's not being honest about it, then it can be kind of weird.
see when
Like
I'm saying like he's
honest
being
about
nice. I mean like it's like he's already nice, and then he's like also trying to court her. He's like being even nicer. It's like how did you want them to court you? Like
so
how do you
not in
want them
terms
to
of like
show their intentions?
so not in terms of like a guy who's being nice to get closer to her. In terms of a
Yeah,
guy, yeah. So something like he made his intentions
like he made his
obvious.
intentions clear. It's like
Yeah.
I really like you, and he's
but
like
is
let's
that
go to dinner and like have like a nice time, and, or he's like,
is
oh,
that
I
even that
saw
bad
like it was
though?
raining. I bought you.
What? A guy using being nice to a girl to get close to him?
Is that even that bad?
I don't think it's bad. I just think
I
it's
mean,
pretty shit.
it's
There's
like
a
what like
nuance
you
to
said,
everything, right? So
how do you get closer to this person? How does
Well,
this person
befriend
become
them.
seen or
You
noticed?
you befriend them, right? And that works. Yeah, usually that involves being
Because
nice to them.
you could always go to Zach and
But
Cody route and have like a 6 month plan. What was it? He had like a 6 month
I
plan
have
before he
no
could
idea what
finally
you're
think they
talking
could.
that's what
about,
I'm trying to
bro.
say. Like
It's like
the guy who just keeps doing nice things to
Jesus.
a girl and is always in her orbit being nice to her, never says his intentions, but he just keeps trying to be nice. Like that can be weird. I can understand why a woman would find that weird.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you
See,
hanging on for
it's a
dear
very
life.
it's a fine line, but bad boy can just do whatever the fuck he wants, and
Yeah. And that's what I'm trying to say. Maybe it might just be stupid, a stupid thing to do. Maybe you're just clear with your intentions from the jump and don't try to get close to her by being nice. You'll probably get your what you want faster.
I don't understand that though. It's like because
well, we're different
even
beings, bro.
no, I'm saying even with the intentions being put out there on Front Street, like she could easily just be like, "Oh yeah, like I don't want nothing to do with you."
Yeah, but what happens?
As opposed to waiting maybe let's say in an inordinate amount of time, whatever the time frame is,
Well, see,
and you're nice throughout that, and she might change her opinion of you as opposed to like
I think
just getting rejected from day one. I don't know.
I think there's a disconnect in how we're thinking. Like what I'm thinking of is like sure, like the obvious and most normal way to court a girl you like would be to befriend. Not no, actually no, not even to be honest. Maybe
Yeah, don't become
a
their
way to
friend.
do
Just
it
don't become their friend.
in
That's just
certain
not.
settings.
It's two
Let me
layers,
finish.
bro.
Let me finish. In certain settings, the way to court a girl would be befriending her. In certain settings, it's the safest route to go. Like you say, you want to do it at work, even though I don't think you should. It would probably be better to befriend her first rather than just go straight up to her at work, like, yeah, like,
But why are you befriending her though? Why are you befriending her? Do
yeah,
you
let's
really want to be
yeah,
friends with her?
yeah, you're befriending her with those intentions, right? But that's different from a guy buying a girl a bunch of gifts and doing all these acts of service. Like that can get into weird territory real fast, you know? Like that's weirder than just befriending her. Like befriending someone, you just befriend them, you talk to them. You're like, hey, you want to go have some lunch, things like that. But like, I'll give you an example of when this can become fucking bizarre. Like back when I worked with another girl, a guy liked her, and what he did was he bought her something on Valentine's Day. He bought her this big ass teddy bear, some chocolates and stuff, and she found it very weird. She found it weird. It made her like it ruined their friendship.
It's because he
She
skipped a
didn't really
bunch
want
of
to be around her.
steps. He skipped
Yeah,
a bunch of
yeah,
steps.
yeah. I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying
Well,
like
that's why
just
he had
being
to clarify. We
no,
had to
no,
like
I
set a
know, but
stage.
the small, it's just like these small ways, like not even in the form of a gift or offering her something, but just the way that you would treat anybody that you're nice to, right? You welcome them in when you see them. I'm not welcome them in, but you know, a nice greeting, or you ask them how the day's going, or you start up a small but insignificant conversation. But it's like all that could get just the same amount of criticism as, oh, you're trying too hard, or you're trying something, or you got a bigger ulterior motive. It gets just as much as a bad rep as uh having the extreme part of it, like the like you said, the giving them all these gifts, or uh just all the time following them around and getting on that stalker kind of way, but just being a nice person with intentions gets lumped in with that in some people's eyes. It's like, bro, how is somebody supposed to act? Withdrawn, distant, cold, aloof?
That,
Like,
that touches on the top. That's what they
yeah.
want.
And then
That's
and
what they
then
want.
and then because there's that fine line of being nice, then you could go the other extreme, which is being an ultimate badass and treating her like shit. And then you could go between them. You could teeter between the middle, which is not even recognizing them, or just like looking their way and just like not. They don't even exist to you, you know. So I don't know. I feel like there's nothing wrong with being nice, and if you get something out of it, you get something out of it. I mean, that's been a lifelong question, anyways, about is a selfless act really selfless, right? Or if you do something for in the service of someone else, is it really doing something for them? If you gain something out of it, right? If even if that's like pure joy and happiness, it's like I kind of don't really fuck with that. It's just like, why can't we all gain something? I feel like we all use each other for shit. You know,
Because
she's
you
using
live in
me,
a
I'm using
society.
her. It is
What
what it is, man.
would you say, Rick?
You live in a society.
We live in a society, bottom
But,
tax.
but there's nothing wrong with it. People try to demonize that. You want something out of it, so you want something out of it too. The
Yeah, I don't
fuck?
care about that part. I'm just saying, generally speaking, I don't think trying to be nice to a girl is the way you
See,
end up dating.
when I say, I guess it really matters how to clarify what I mean by when I say being nice, right? Like, I don't mean like doing like super extravagant like acts of service or anything. I just mean like you were treating them with kindness, you
With
know?
Oh, so,
respect,
but
kindness.
your general opinion is when a guy treats her with kindness, he finishes last.
Um,
Like
hmm.
generally speaking, you don't have to talk about specific situations. We're making a very blanket statement.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
Yeah,
say yeah, yeah.
yeah. I'm say yeah.
You also say yeah.
I'm say yeah.
Mm.
And it sounds like one of those things that you don't want to agree with, but just living
Look,
life.
man, it's something that's a cliche for a reason. You see it in, obviously, movies aren't a reflection of life all the time, and they push
Yeah,
boundaries.
they are.
They are, but I'm saying some of the tropes that they use are not like, love at first sight. Some of those things are not real, right?
I mean, but like
And,
the whole reason they
and
even exist is because the idea exists. Means you at least think it's real, right?
it's a real, these things are real to a degree,
No,
but
I'm
to
just
the
busting your
yeah,
balls. Going with it's always about the
but
semantics, right?
semantics. But generally speaking, as we look at society in a general, in a general way, like the greatest amount of people that live under this, uh, how does it apply to them? And I would say the nice guys finish last is common. Like, I mean, come on. I mean, you guys been around, not even just taking yourselves out of it, but people that got shoved aside that were nice people. They didn't win. And also that's just that's just a thing that happens regardless of it being in relation to women. But they tell you even when you're in pursuit of something, you have to, push others down, or if you have to get by in deceitful ways to get what you want. These are narratives that are actually
Yeah,
pushed.
yeah,
These are narratives that people support. Like they talk about wealthy people in this country, and even some of them will sit there and tell you. I mean, not that their acts were corrupt in any way, but they had to be a jerk, or they had to be an asshole to people, or they had to behave in a certain way. Where I know this is on a tangent, but I'm bringing it back to like they weren't a nice guy. Generally speaking, if you ask people that seen their growth and seen them at an earlier time period, they would say that they're not a nice guy. I mean, there's people that said that about Michael Jordan, but it's the because of them not being nice. Uh, in some way that propelled them to where they were. I don't know how to exactly
I think it's
decode
I think
that, but yeah,
yeah, sorry. I think it's more they have that aggression that's necessary to push yourself, that
yeah.
force of will. And it comes off, it seems like they're not nice when it's really just their force of will. Like cause like even me, right?
But
Like
some of them
sometimes
have wait, real quick. I just want to add this last part. Some of them have literally come out and said, "Yeah, I'm not a nice guy," or or yeah, I don't care. It's not that. It's not
right,
only that they're not a nice guy. They don't care about the perception. They don't care about being nice to others.
that's what happens.
Yeah,
They don't care about the perception, so that it becomes they're not a nice guy because they're not trying to be nice all the time. They don't see it as a worthwhile endeavor. And like even like with me, right? I will come off as pretty assholish sometimes because sometimes I'll have a very clear idea of how something should work, or I'll just think something stupid and I'll come right out and say that's stupid. But people can't even like they'll say I'm an asshole, but they don't really mean it because usually I'm decent. Like I'm like very middle of the line. Like
Bro,
I don't bend over backwards trying to please everyone, but I'm also not going around punching people in the back of their heads or nothing, you know?
yeah.
But what I was gonna say though, in regards to this whole thing about nice guys finish last, my like I've noticed a lot that I would meet women who were diametrically opposed to a lot of the things I said. They would even claim to not like my personality, all kinds of things. But you know what else would happen? You could see as I was talking to them that there was a lot of sexual tension, despite the fact that they supposedly hated me and thought I was annoying. Like it was so fucking like remember the girl I was telling you I told both of you guys about. I remember whenever I tell Ray about this, we laugh. Remember the girl that said that I was toxically masculine, but it was okay because it just seemed to be my personality?
hmm
And it was
I
like
said
shit like
specifically, it's
that.
like she's only saying that because she likes you.
Exactly. And so it's very funny you guys say that. It's very true in that when you try too hard to be nice or you're too timid or too docile, they don't seem to find that attractive.
They
I
don't.
mean, yeah,
Bro, I've literally
nice
been
is
called like I've literally been insulted for treating people correctly. Like
the
literally because I did not essay somebody. They called me a coward.
key word that you said there correctly. How else am I supposed to? And
Like
this is
I
not
mean in
even
their
this is
minds I should have assaulted them. And I was like, excuse me? Nah, we're not doing that. That's not happening.
were you not? I just look at it growing up like I was told that this is how I fuck it being about women or a specific gender. This is how I'm supposed to treat a person. I grew up with structure. I grew up with principles. I grew up with this is the way you treat people in society. You be nice to them. You treat them with respect. Now, obviously, there are situations where that might alter your approach to them or how you feel about them. But generally speaking, if somebody didn't do it, cause you any harm, and this is someone that you're meeting, um, you treat them like you would treat anyone else that didn't do anything to you with respect. So I don't get why. I mean, with women, I get it because when they're a strange person that you never met, obviously there's that thing working against you where it's like, what do they want, right? And guys have that same thing too, but it's not about oh yeah, like it's not sexual. It's just
Yeah,
is he gonna rob me? Is this somebody I should be fearful of? Like there's always intentions, but it's like
sometimes it can be sexual. You
yeah,
like
yeah sometimes it can be sexual.
on that end of the spectrum.
But we've turned intentions as to fit into this negative connotation where where humans just don't are non-intentional, like even in some non-intentional there's an intent in there, right? There's an intent. Now the intent can only go so far, right? It might be you want to be with her, or it might be you want to just smash, or it might be I just want to befriend her, but there's always an intention there. So
What I was gonna say, it seems even men seem to prefer, in regards not even to like female partners. Although I do think even with female partners, they might prefer slightly bitchier women. Some men, anyway. I think a lot of men, to be honest. But I feel like men idolize men who who people would consider assholes. I think men also idolize those men. I was just thinking that just dawned on me just now. Because you look at someone like Tyler Durden. Tyler Durden's a dick, and
I don't
people
know who
love
that
Tyler
is.
Durden. You've seen Fight Club.
I don't know who that is. Is that the other guy? I don't remember
Guy
people's
who appears
names.
in the red jacket.
Oh, okay.
He was an asshole, and people love him in the movie and outside the movie. They love Tyler Durden. So it's very interesting to think about. It's like, I don't know. Maybe it's the radical honesty in those people those kind of people that people like.
Maybe
it's not. I don't
people just want to
understand
be
why.
assholes, and they just appreciate that guy got the balls to do it.
Yeah, yeah, that's what it is. But what I was gonna say though is I talked to a girl I knew about this when Ray first brought it up to me, and she told me something that I want to ask about your perspectives on. She said that it's not that women don't find nice guys attractive. And when she said this, I thought it was very interesting, and I just thought about it a lot. She was like, "It's not that they don't find nice men attractive." She was like, "It's just that sometimes there are two kinds of nice men." She's like, "There are nice men who are nice because they really just don't care. Like they're just very confident in themselves, so they do things without caring how it comes off. So like even like you know how we were talking about how guys like Michael Jordan, he's an asshole, and he doesn't care what people think of him, even though he probably did, right? Um, yeah, I'm saying that's probably why he was such an asshole. He's probably trying to create that image, right? But anyways,
I like how
um,
you slide that in there.
I mean, because more often than not, when you meet guys who are trying so hard to appear tough and alpha, it's because they care a lot about how they're perceived. Like they really care. Some guys really are just like really out there. Like I've met people like that who just they lived in another dimension. Like I've met guys like Emilio is like nice, but I met guys who were dicks, but they weren't actually dicks.
Yeah.
They just lived in another world. Like they just they just like I don't know. They grew up in Sparta or some shit, and they just did not like shit. Just like because I remember I would have conversations with people who you would consider like alpha, and there would just be concepts that they just could not understand, like kindness for kindness' sake. Things like this would not make sense to them. They'll be like, "But like, what would I gain from that though?" Like they just don't get it. Right? But anyways, she said that nice guys who are like nice because they're confident and they're in tune with themselves, like there's something different about the way they present themselves as opposed to the nice guys who are not as confident. She said that's when they'll seem very needy and very like very like they care too much and that kind of thing. And she was like that those are the nice guys that women don't like, and they want the nice guys who are confident and secure in themselves. What do you guys think about that?
As far as those two night, like as far as I'm trying to understand the question, like about her breaking it down in terms of be nice guys being in those two ways, or just the fact that it's because that those two guys are that way, that's why
No, no.
they
She said
finish last.
her point was that they don't finish last. It's just that a
Okay.
lot of nice guys are of the former and that they're very insecure and they do very insecure and needy things. In regards like it being nice for certain reasons, right? And it comes off as needy. Meanwhile, the other guy, he's nice because he really just doesn't care. Like like it's like the top G we were talking about. When you meet real Chads in real life, a lot of time what you'll notice is they're very fucking kind to people. Like I remember I used to make this point to Ray all the time about Superman, and when we talk about him, I was like, it makes no sense for Superman. People always say, if Superman was real, he'd be a psychopath. He'd be walking around blowing people's heads up and like murdering people for no reason.
I mean, that's
And
why
I
the
thought
boys
to
are so
myself,
popular because they're like it's so relatable and real. I was like, No, it's
Exactly.
not.
Yeah.
No,
And then I
it's
thought to
not.
myself, I was like, wait a minute. A guy like Superman who's grown up with his powers his whole life. I was like, killing people to him would probably be the most boring fucking thing ever because he knows he can do it. Like we're practically children to this man. This man has hyper intelligence. He has super strength, super senses. He can observe things that we'll never ever fucking see. He can see on every fucking spectrum. Like, like why would torturing us tiny little infants be interesting to him? Like, first of all, he probably wouldn't even live on the fucking planet. He probably would have left a long time ago. It probably would have just became too boring to him to even be here, right? Sounds like he probably would be very kind because that's where the challenge would be. It's like I'm gonna use my powers to make the world a better place, and now that's where it'll become hard because now he has to actually like like say he gets he's trying to stop a guy from doing something. Now he has to do this in a way in which he doesn't destroy the person. It'd be very easy to just destroy them, but he's like, how can I do this without shattering all their bones? So like I feel like that's what happens when you meet a lot of these really kind guys who have reached their max potential, right? Like they know they're very strong. Their life is well together. Like there's nothing to gain to them from being a dick to people. You know what I mean? Like they just see they have no interest in that. Like, I don't know if you guys have met guys like that because I've met a lot of guys like that where like they'll be like the most brolic guy ever, but they're just kind as fuck. Like it's like a real life Superman. You know what I mean? So I guess that's the kind of guy she's talking about. And then the other kind is like a guy who's very needy and just like trying very hard to be noticed. So he tries to use the kind boy persona to do that.
Yeah, I mean, definitely because the the one that's not doing it for attention, or that's just who they are, or they don't even really care what she might think of him, even if he's even if that perception is good. Let's say he doesn't even care that she has that perception um of him. It's like he's running in the race, but he's not trying to get gold. Like he's just running. You know what I'm saying? He's just running. And whatever place he finishes, he finishes. And that's why we see the person finish last, because you got all these people that are trying to hunt for that person, or all these people that's trying to get to that point, and they're gonna fight and claw and do whatever they can to get there. And if they got to be a badass, if they got to treat her a certain way, if they got to be in her vicinity all the time, that's what they're gonna do. I remember in high school there was this like one girl. I thought she was attractive, not gonna lie, but I remember she just being hounded. Like it'd be during lunchtime. It'd be a whole bunch of guys like encircling her, and I'm like, damn, bro, like this is fun for y'all, like all competing for her attention, like all
I
these
mean,
women in
we
this
witnessed
school,
that.
and y'all, and it's just crazy to me, and it's not like sure I could have went and tried to do something, but instantly like
Tried to
I don't,
save a hoe. Be gone!
yeah,
Be gone, you
yeah,
scabby
yeah,
dogs!
A lot
but
of
it's
fucking
like that.
fun.
Not to, and this is gonna sound crazy, but before my words get misconstrued, and before Ray comes in with like, "Damn, bro, that's what you trying to say."
Nah, that's what you be doing.
Yeah,
That's what you
yeah,
be doing.
You do do that. You do
before I do
Instigating
that,
ass motherfucker, bro.
I'm about to use an analogy, but the analogy is gonna sound crazy, and this is not to put women down whatsoever,
Women
but
are like cars.
to me that prized possession ain't as prized. It ain't as valuable to me. And not, like I said, to preface by saying women are not objects, they're not possessions, they're not that, et cetera, et cetera. But using it as an analogy, if there's something that I'm trying to pursue and everybody got their hands in it and everybody trying to grab it, it's not something that I want. It's not something that is appealing to me anymore. Like, sure, I mean, it could have that initial appeal, but I feel like over time it's just like it's not. It doesn't seem like something I want anymore. And I feel like I don't know how someone would categorize me as far as being nice. Like I said, I'm nice to whoever. Like we don't have to have anything in common. We don't have to have any conversation. I'm gonna have the same respect for you, like someone else. It is what it is. But I would say that you know the people that do something that are nice because they want to get something, I'm not gonna shame them for that either. They being like, obviously you don't do it through deceitful ways. You don't get a whole bunch of gifts. You don't start trying to appear in everything, like in every area that she's in, and trying to
Just
what do they call it
creeping.
in show?
Just
What they
stalking.
call it in shows? Like you contrive the situation, like it's very contrived. You don't do that, you know. But um, if you and I don't know if that's something that you upfront about, because like I said, be she might be what's the word? Uh she might not fuck with that. Like you telling her like, oh yeah, like let's get together and hang out. Because I've seen the upfront approach. The upfront approach don't always work. And sometimes, like I said, it takes like her to see you as more of a person, and for you to like be around more, to be like, oh no, he really
Yeah.
cool. I didn't like him at
See,
first, but
I'll let you continue, but I was gonna say I feel
yeah,
like because even I feel like Ref does this. Like this is not no shade against Ref, but this is something he does. I feel like sometimes he moves too fast when he will like
yeah,
approach these people. He'll just jump right to it too quickly. And I feel like what you're saying is like you need to set things up first. Like not even like in some big brain shit. No, like have an actual conversation with her for a little bit.
yeah.
Let her get to know you.
And
You know?
it's too many layers. I just want to add this part because I know I've been going off, but the when you sit there and set it up, it's nice too. But that also has its downside, because you could be setting up for so long that what
Yeah.
she does, she keeps you in that pocket. She keeps you in that pocket. You a friend. You on the side. You know what I'm saying? She's the hangout buddy. You this, you that. But it's like, nah. Like, I was talking all this game because, you know what I'm saying. I think you are cool, but I want to be in this pocket. I want to be past this.
Stuff
So
like that. Yeah.
so you get caught up in that. Oh, like, oh, she want to keep you around, but she want to keep you around for a certain thing,
Yeah.
and you don't want to just be like upfront and honest, because it's like, oh, she's kind of like turned off by that. That's the word. It's a turn off.
Well,
She's
it's not
turned
even
off by that.
it's you don't want to jump like straight to it because then you
Yeah,
just sound like impatient and impulsive, you
Sound
know?
like a
yeah,
weirdo. You
Yeah, you
you know
sound
what
like a
that is?
weirdo.
You know what that is,
yeah.
EJ? Back in
You're a
Miami.
weirdo. You're a weirdo. So you're a weirdo. You're a weirdo if you're upfront. You're a weirdo if you're upfront and honest, but you're also a weirdo if you
No.
slave away for a year or two trying to get into this girl's
There's,
good
All right,
graces.
all right, all
there's
right.
some
I think
nuance here that needs to be established.
yeah. I wanted to clarify. Like, there's levels to this shit, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Upfront and honest is not just walking up in her face and saying some wild shit right
yeah,
away.
it's not like, hey, yo, you trying to come back to the crib? Like I got the Casamigos. I got some. I got the
That's impulsive.
Casamigos. I got
Hey,
the
hey,
That's
fucking
impulsive.
surround
say,
sound. Like, it was good.
say what you want about that.
No,
That
you know,
hasn't
you're
worked.
right. You're right though.
That hasn't
If
worked.
that's honestly what you want to say, then yes.
That hasn't worked in some cases.
Yeah.
I
Unsuspecting women, that
mean,
has worked.
of course,
But
it's
what I was
probably
gonna say
worked
though,
sometimes, right?
what I was gonna say though is I remember that story you told me, EJ, about when you were talking to that girl for mad long and you felt you bonded. I remember my first response when you told me the story. I was like, "Oh, it's because you talked to her too long." That's what
Yeah,
I was like, you should have cut it at like 15 minutes. I
yeah,
remember that's what I told you.
yeah.
I was like, once the conversation reached,
They ain't no fucking rule book. They ain't no manual. Like, we
yeah,
had this conversation with rap. You got to feel the moment out. You got to
yeah,
see
and
where
you
it's
gotta
going.
realize
Read the
because
temperature.
I've done that before. I'll be talking to a girl, and I realize I can feel it. I'm like, damn, I've been talking to her too fucking long. Like you can see it during
Yeah,
the conversation. Like, damn,
The interest
we
goes
went
away.
across. Yeah, we crossed the threshold. I was like, fuck,
It
you
went
know?
from
because
it went
you know
from
what the problem is.
playful flirting to, it's like, oh, this man's, yeah, this is buddy right here.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can literally see when you cross the threshold. It's like it's a physical thing. You're just like zoom.
you,
It's
you
like,
know.
oh shit.
So
You know what
nah,
the problem is, and Vanguard does this shit too. And I'm gonna throw you out. I'm gonna throw you out on this one. I'll put you out there on this one.
Yeah, I do.
So like, not just you. I'm just using you as an example. But like, we as men, I feel like there are times where we succeed in these endeavors, and we try to examine the success and what did we do that was right. What did we do that contributed to the outcome? Right? Like, there was something in there that we tried to pull. But success can be, like, we talked about it on the social media level, to becoming an internet success and all that. But just in any endeavor, not just women, but any endeavor. Obviously there's going to be a working formula, but there's also going to be some surrounding circumstances or other factors that we couldn't have accounted for, or might have helped us, or we might have been fortunate to have played the part. And I feel like, especially when it comes to women, we like to like use that because we talk about the dating coaches and all that and the gurus, and we like to like pull these recipes and act like these are the ingredients. But it's like, nah, bro, like this was a late night. She probably was bored. She probably was looking for the next person to come along. Now it's not as likely that that probably happened, but it could have been something. So I'm not saying that you discount anything that worked for you, but you can't just automatically assume that you have a recipe because it worked a couple times or this thing worked.
I still think it's important to reflect on things and see. Sometimes you can reflect and
You
you can
can,
like there
you
have been
can.
times where I've looked back on something and I would notice in my mind, I was like, "Ah, you know what? I think it was just
But
like you know what?
you do that with your failures too. Not only successes, you
Yeah,
do
yeah,
you examine your
yeah.
failures to a
Both.
degree where it gets to a point where it's like, damn, okay, this is the recipe for failure and this is the recipe of success. How can I take this out, implement this, and
But like
that might not even be an answer. Like what works
yeah,
for you might not work for someone else, and
there have
that's
been
the
times
whole issue.
there have been plenty of scenarios where, like, for example, right, the time where there was nothing I did, and it was like that's why I felt like when I first did approach, it was I felt like I wasn't learning anything because I felt like I would have successes that didn't mean anything because I didn't do anything to get them. I
Yeah.
just got lucky. Like the time when we were in the nightclub and the girl literally pulled me over, that random girl, to
Yeah.
her friend. Like there was nothing I did. And the most I did was I smiled at the girl.
You were present. You were present. That's what you did. You were
Yeah,
present.
I didn't do anything. So it's like there's nothing to learn from that. Like I did look back on it, and then ultimately I came to the conclusion that I didn't do anything. it was just a lucky night for me for some reason.
And people getting the wrong lessons out of success. Like they
Yeah,
getting the wrong lessons out of you pulling the wrong lessons. That might
I
not
could,
be it at all.
I could have been crazy. I could have been like, "Yo, it must have been that my aura was on peak that night, and
Yeah.
all I gotta do is get the right aura, and then the girls will come to me."
Well, I was wearing this shirt, this short sleeve shirt that was exposing my physique and my muscles, and you
Oh no,
know,
that's the I tried to think maybe it was that. I was like, yo, maybe it was my physique.
maybe I got to
Yeah,
wear more short sleeve shirts. Maybe I
but
had
that's
to.
the thing. I was wearing a jacket that night. And so I was like,
Yeah.
oh, so that wasn't it. I was like, I was wearing a jacket.
So it could really be any number of things, and I don't like it when people try to attribute it to this one
Yeah.
thing and blow it
Yeah,
up.
it could have been a combination of fucking things that was just too much for you to even count, you know?
Yeah.
It could have been anything. Could have been your hair looked really nice that day in combination with, I don't know, that week you were doing something new with your skincare routine. Like,
And
it could have been so many things.
and you got to look at the success rate, right? The
Yeah.
success rate of being able to accomplish that. Like if you succeed in every fucking night, then it's like, all right, I can't knock your
Yeah,
plan.
there must be
I can't knock
something
your
I'm
plan.
doing.
Like, but your success rate is not fucking that high for you to be out here like, yeah, this is the go to. Like, you got to go to this. This is it right here. Like, if you're not doing this, man, you fucking up. Like,
Well, Ray, what were you gonna say before we kept going?
It's too late now. So it's
Oh,
past.
too late. It's too late.
so all right, so we've established that we think nice guys finish last, or at least, do you guys think the kind of nice guy the girl described, who's confident in himself, do you think he also finishes last?
Well, now that
Say that again.
it's back here. So it it's hard to like clarify these types of terms, like what is a nice guy, right? Because like
Yeah.
when you say that, everyone has their like go-to definition in their mind, and it doesn't necessarily match up, right? Especially like that girl to sit there and to describe two different types of nice guys, and I would like to say that there aren't two different types of nice guys because that first guy she described isn't nice, right?
No. What she meant, I'm going to clarify because the way she described it to me, I got what she was saying. I kept asking her questions so I could get to the bottom of what she was trying to say. The way she not necessarily a guy because she did also mention the other guy who's only being nice to get into her pants. She mentioned that guy too,
Mm-hmm.
but she said the kind of nice guy who he's not confident enough in himself, like as in he's a
I know
nice
exactly. Yeah.
but he's not confident, and you
He's
can
timid.
see it.
He's
You know,
timid. Yeah.
yeah, he's too
See,
timid.
then it's not the fact that he's a nice guy; it's the fact that he's not confident, right? And I want to say that like that's adding a secondary category to what we're talking about, and it's kind of trying to like it's trying
Wait,
to
but
weasel their way out of the conversation here
oh, so you're saying that you don't agree with her, that she's
because
wrong.
it's like
That has nothing to do with that.
oh, but he's a nice guy, but he's really confident, so I'm attracted to the confidence. It's like, well, you could say that about a lot of shit. Like now it's like, oh, you're attracted to confident people, and like it's just such a weird thing to because the whole point, like the statement that even brought up that conversation you had with her in the first place was like there are no attractive nice
That's a good
guys,
point. That's a good
right?
point.
So it's like how many other things do I have to add
All right,
before I
so
get to like what like
No,
this is a
no,
nice
I
person?
think I think she said it that way because people try to conflate confidence with being an asshole. That's what it is.
well,
Being timid is almost like conflated with being nice to some people.
what I want to ask
Like,
Ray though,
yeah.
do you think the confident nice guy, do you think that her division, do you think that that nice guy finishes in front, as she was trying to say, or he
Well,
also finishes
that's
last?
why I was gonna have to say that we have to sit here and really flesh out what we mean by when we say a nice guy, right? Because like, is it just a nice guy because he like got you flowers? Is he just a nice guy because he doesn't like smack you upside your head? Like where are we drawing the line?
Sure,
Like
bro.
what makes you a nice guy? Because you can like you can just be a confident nice guy, sure, but like it is the actions, right?
So your argument is, generally speaking, the actions that would be befitting to a nice person is not attractive to most women.
I don't even think it's that they're not attractive. I just think I feel it's more like the other is more attractive. Cause like
Okay.
Mm.
you get to the point where it's like once it's gone through the system, they like come back to reality and they're like, oh, I really do like that. Like that's just nice. That shit's attractive.
Even then, they always want to dip their toes back in that every once in a while.
Because it's exciting, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like it's not like a lot of the conversations we have is always framed from the perspective of men because we are heterosexual men. So that's the type of shit we talk about, right? But even men will like have that like slight attraction to like the bad bitch, right? Like to someone who's like not necessarily a nicer person, but because like they act a certain type of way, it's like just a little bit. Like he's like, yo, it's like a little nice to like go and see what's over there on that side, right?
I think it for us, it's less about her being like. I think for us, when we think of the bad bitch or whatever, it's more like she's very slutty and promiscuous. That's
Well, I was just
what
trying to
we
say it's like even we will have those moments where we are not attracted to the
Definitely.
quote unquote
like the IG chick.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um so especially like men and women seem to just be attracted to different qualities in anyway, right?
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
like there's no such thing as a nice girl because like we don't give a fuck about that shit.
Yeah. Well, I think the nice girl. Yeah, I do think generally speaking, men will find more attractive the IG model sticking her tongue out. I mean, well, some men claim they won't, but like right in front of them, a lot of men I think will find the girl who has the stereotypically beautiful kind of look, and she's wearing the revealing clothes. They'll find her more attractive than the girl dressed like a librarian. You know?
Yeah, and when I say
Definitely.
there's that we like find them more attractive than a nice girl, I'm saying like the
Yeah,
equivalency of nice guy, nice girl. Like it's not the exact same
yeah, yeah,
thing, right?
yeah,
I guess the girl next door would be more of a equivalent type thing, right?
yeah. Well,
And that's how they describe these nice what a nice girl is. Like what you said,
And like
she
Taylor
could
Swift had a
be
whole song about how like the girl next door always finishes last, right? Like there's a whole song about it. It's like the whole thing. Like they have their own equivalency
yeah.
to the term of nice guys finish last, right?
yeah.
But it's an appearance thing too because like
I think for
the,
men, it's
the
mostly appearance. Yeah,
yeah because the nice girl, bro, she could be like very sexually active, but dressed like a librarian, and you might not know about it at all. You know what I'm saying? She might not reveal that part of herself through conversation or the way she dressed,
I
but
but
also
she
you
might
feel
be.
that
it's funny you mentioned
But
that. 'Cause it is, in my opinion, that the women who are the more revealing are typically not really about that life.
They are
It's just
not
from
about that
They,
experience.
life.
they try to compensate. They
They are
try.
not about that life at all.
It's from experience. It'll always be some girl who was wearing some baggy stuff and she acts like she's so nice. Those are the girls who'd rock my world and take me to another universe. When I was like, yo, you ain't tell me it was like that. You tell me it was
Yeah.
like
He's like, whoa,
That's
whoa,
what I'm saying.
ah!
We be going into it with these preconceived notions and be thinking like we probably everybody's different, but some people probably like phrase it, she a nice girl. She probably don't go outside much. She probably don't,
Well,
she's probably not about
I think
that.
that's the crux
You
of the
know?
issue here. It's like
Yeah.
it's the preconceived notions which affect both genders when you're like thinking about these like the whole reason this conversation was even brought up was like I saw a post where this person said, and I quote, "There are no attractive nice guys," and I was like, how did she
Mhm.
even fix herself to say such a thing? Like that makes
well, I
no
mean,
sense.
like I said, I think the way she fixed herself to say it was she wasn't even
Yeah, yeah,
supposed
yeah,
to
but
be.
it was like it just doesn't even
Yeah.
cross my mind to say some shit like that about anyone, you know?
Even a nice girl would be and this is crazy because it's like it almost seems like she's doing something wrong when she's living the way she's supposed to be living. They'll even call the nice girl, oh, they'll call a girl that's nice if she's putting school first, or she's getting home early so
She's
she
a
could.
good girl. That's what they say.
Yeah, she's a good girl. Like
Yeah, I've
like
heard that
that
too.
would be in that same area of nice. Like, she's nice. She does what she has to do. She's a square, right?
See, but
It's like
what I
that.
was saying is like those preconceived notions is really drives
Yeah,
the opinions. Because to say there are no attractive nice guys, it's like that doesn't make any sense, right? Like nice guys look like everyone else, so it has to be more of a in her mind. A nice guy isn't gonna be doing
yeah.
the types of things that she like wants to do, right? And like it's like a personality thing at that point.
He ain't gonna be pulling her hair, like and
I
pulling her
even
up.
I don't even know. It's like I was like, if she wants to like go out and party all the time, like maybe like, in her mind, nice guys aren't doing that. Or he's gonna be like, oh well, we gotta go to church on Sunday, so you can't be out
Yeah.
too late. Like some like idea like that. Where and it's like you were talking about like the IG models, like oh yeah, like you be thinking like oh they really are freaking. It's like if that's what you want, like just like outward like facing, you're not gonna find what you want if you're only
Yeah.
looking at the covers of these books, right? So
Like
it's just
he's
a
a
whole
nice guy. I can't get drunk with this guy under the stairwell. Like he a nice guy. You know what I'm saying?
that's a wild
It's
statement you just
it's
said.
it's this type of behavior. You know what I'm saying? Like they want to see that kind of outward, irrational kind of thinking.
It's funny.
Putting me in these situations.
Yeah, they do. They definitely do want that. But it's funny because, in regards to what the girl was saying, women would think that I was very what's the word? What's the word they would always use? What's that word? Fucking shy. They'd always say, "Oh, you seem so shy," and because I seemed shy, they would try to rock my world and do stuff to me. And I felt like that would get me a lot of action. Them thinking I was shy
Yeah.
and naive, so they wanted to. That shit would always work for me. Like I would be, obviously, they'd always be like, "Oh, you're so shy," and then I would surprise them, and they would learn that it was like, "It's like, got you, bitch." I wasn't shy at all. I was just playing. I got you.
Yeah, I usually get that I'm like very antisocial. I'm just like, nah, I just didn't say anything.
Yeah.
Like I was just standing here. You've been
But trust
in
me.
my presence for 5 minutes, and you just
Yeah.
got these whole. It's so weird how quick people will have these entire dossiers about you, and it's like
Uh-huh.
you don't know me, like
Like,
you,
oh, you give me these vibes, you give me that vibe, you give me that vibe. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
bro. I hate vibe, bro. It's such a bullshit
But
thing.
but do you find yourself doing the same thing to other people?
Yes.
I really try not to. Like I generally don't try. I
I
don't give
try
a
not to,
fuck,
but
bro.
it happens.
Like I don't give a flying fuck about you, bro. Like that's the reason I don't do it. Is like I don't care. I don't care enough to do it.
No, I'm saying like if I'm having a conversation with someone, ideas would enter my head of things they're saying. It'll make me think, oh, they're this kind of person, they're that kind of
Nah,
person.
but you've done some prejudging before the conversation. Come on, don't say that. Don't say that. It took them saying some. a couple things to you.
Usually it'll be based on their actions, and sometimes it'll be based on how they look, right? But I'm not as bad as some people. But
I've met
usually
some
I would
real
say,
bad people, real bad at it, bro. I was walking down the street. It was funny because I knew the people he was talking about, right? So I was walking with this guy, and he's like, "Oh, those guys are flirting real hard." I was like, "Are they? Are they really?" He's like, "Yeah, they're clearly flirting super hard." And he was talking all this shit. And I was like, "Huh? Well, that guy's gay, so I don't think they're flirting."
yeah. I mean,
And he was like,
like
"What?" And he was like, "You sure?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah, I'm pretty
I
sure."
think part of why I became decent, because I'm telling you, man, a lot of the time I'll judge people, and it'll turn out I was right. And I used to do this with books too. I used to surprise our boy. Well, he's not our boy anymore, but when we knew him, Arm, right? I would tell him that I could tell what a book was about just by looking at the cover. And this is only because I read a lot. So that's part of, like, when you read a whole lot of shit, the basics of stories start to enter your head. So you know what kind of story a story is going to be just by looking at the blurb or reading a little bit of it. Which is why Ray was saying, remember when he was talking about that comic book about Catwoman, he was saying he doesn't think I would enjoy it because I would be able to realize where the story was going pretty quickly, right? So like, yeah, that's what. Cause that's not because I'm like some big brain super genius. No, it's just because I read a lot. So I like that would happen, right? So like I would look at book covers. I would look at the book, tell him exactly what the book's probably about. He would be like, "Okay, I'm going to test you." Then he'd open the blurb and tell me exactly what I said about the book. And that came. One of the reasons that came is because I hate YA novels, and I would
Oh yeah, you
look.
can definitely tell a YA book
Yeah,
by its cover.
yeah.
Like you can say, like, "Oh
YA
yeah,
novels are very easy.
that's
They're very
that's Maze Runner Part 2 right there." Like
yeah. But
that's just
anyways,
Hunger Games adjacent.
What? Yeah, one of the reasons why I would Oh, actually, speaking of Maze Runner is actually pretty decent. Like I read part of the first book. It is, very Hunger Gamesy, but it has its own style and flavor to it that makes it a little better, right? I only read part of the first book though. My sister had it there. I picked it up and just started skimming through it. I was like, "Hey, this ain't half bad. This ain't half bad."
I think it
I was like,
falls weird later, but they all
"Yeah,
do, you know.
yeah." But anyways, so yeah, with people, I think part of the reason why I'd be able to guess people very easily, not very easy, I'm not gonna lie. Why sometimes I'm able to guess people, that's what I'll say. Is literally what I just did. The humility. I'm willing to admit I have like a 60-70% success rate with predicting these people. Probably even lower than that.
That's
I
high
would
as
even say
fuck. That's high as fuck.
no, no, no. You know what? I'll make it lower then. Because like I'm trying to say, like people really be thinking that they have like 100% success.
Yeah,
No,
people would be
I
like, "I'm
accept
so
that
good at reading people, bro. I could tell."
yeah.
I was like, "You sure about
But
that? You
also
sure
being
about
able to
that,
read
bro?"
people is not that hard from the sense of like,
Yeah.
we've
It's
we've
very
met.
hard.
No, no, no. What I mean by that, like obviously 100% is hard. You don't
Yeah,
fucking know.
the
People don't
reason
know themselves. But I was gonna say that we've lived on this earth for a long time. We've
yeah,
met all
well,
types of people.
yep. You're
Yeah.
touching on it.
Yep.
The reason
How
why I
different can you be? How deep can you be of a
Well, the
person?
reason why I'll do it is because I will not try to do it like that. Try to
Yeah.
get into specifics of how exactly this person or why. No, I just have very general observations.
Generally. Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
they give me
Yep.
this kind of thing. They probably are this kind of thing, right? And I keep it very general.
Yeah.
And obviously, eventually they'll fit into the very general
And
thing.
they fill in the gaps. They fill in the
Yeah, then
gaps.
they fill in the gaps later. But I feel like people like what Ray said, because I've met people like this too, will do this thing where they think they're gonna
They
they're
think
gonna
they're
predict.
Sherlock Holmes, bro. It's
Yeah.
like, I can tell by the gait and his step that he's like this kind. I was like, "Yo, bro, he fell yesterday. Like, like what are you doing?"
Yeah, those Sherlock Holmes books are so funny. Remember, I read them as a kid. Remember, there was a book where he figured out the guy did something by the dust on his pants. And I remember, as a kid, I'm a kid. I was like, that don't make no goddamn sense. I was like, that could have came from anything. I was like, he could have been kneeling in his kitchen and got that dust on his pants. I was like, that. How did you? Because it was crazy. He figured out the guy was digging by like dust on his pants and I think on his hands. I was like, what if he was just kneeling in his kitchen, and that's how that just got on him.
What if he
It
was
was
digging, but he was digging in his garden?
exactly. Um, but yeah,
Wait, real quick though. That question that I was asking earlier. What do you guys thoughts on that? How does
Repeat the
someone
question.
yeah, I was gonna
well, yeah,
got
that's
you, I
actually
got you.
next.
How does someone that be
Wait. Before you get to that question,
okay, go ahead,
before
go
you get to
ahead,
that
go ahead.
question, because that's related to this. That'll be the second. We'll use your question as the second part to this question.
Don't forget it now.
Yeah.
Don't talk to me like I'm a child.
Yeah, you sound like his grandmother or something. Do you guys? What do you guys suggest a guy do if he likes a girl? Should he go? Should he now go for the nice guy route, or should he go for the bad guy route, or should he go a nice middle path?
Yeah, all right. I really do feel it depends on where you are in life, and just like the situation overall, right? Like there are plenty of times where like I definitely fumbled the bag because I waited too long, and then there was definitely times where I fumbled the bag because I didn't wait long enough, right?
It's
like,
nuance, man.
So like you really do gotta just like assess the situation and figure out what the fuck is going on.
And it's hard to do that. It's very hard
It is hard to do that, especially when you're like trying to figure it out yourself. It's like
it has to be like case by case, right?
Yeah, right. And like this is where it's like you just need someone to sit down and tell you things. Cause if I had someone to sit there and tell me these things beforehand, I would have fumbled less bags, right? Like if you are having a decent time, like say like it's a decent time. Like these are not friend vibes. Like you're fucking sitting there looking each other deep in your eyes. You move things forward. Like set up an actual date. Set up some sort of plan, or maybe make your move. Like you fucking know. But you're in your head being like, is this just? Am I like? You fucking know, right? And if you have zero feeling that this is right, it's not the time, bro. It's not the time. If you are not second guessing yourself at all, this isn't it. This is not it. It's not it, bro. It's not it. It's not it. That's like a general thing I can say, right? Like it's just not it. If you're like, maybe YOLO, it's probably not it. If you're like sitting there and you're like, bro, she's giving me those it's probably what you think it is. Like,
and even
if, like 60-70% of the time, it's probably what you think it is. And if it's not, you might as well try it.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world if you do it and it turns out, you know.
That's literally what happened to me when I was in college with two of the women that I was
that's real funny because I remember asking about your college experience.
Yeah, it's real funny because same. I don't remember asking either.
Yeah. But it was just the whole eye thing, bro. It was the eye thing, and yeah, it was just like she was looking at me from across the room, kept looking back, smiling. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna approach. That's it. That's it. I'm gonna approach. That's it. No questions.
Me and Ray, remember we were talking about that. How when you can tell when a girl likes you, it's some weird thing they do with their eyes.
Bro, it's like they have reached inside you, and they're telling you, it's like, yo, nigga, man up right now.
Yeah, I fumbled a bag. Not even a bag because it was. I wasn't in like
being able to read a room is a super underrated skill, man, and a lot of people don't have it. A lot of people don't have it, and I think that's probably the one piece of advice is really refining that skill.
Like man's trying to sign people up for vaccine card first time he met them. Like that's a skill. That's a skill.
It's a fucking skill, bro. It's a skill. Not even just with
that could have benefited that individual.
Not even just trying to see if a woman like you, saving yourself from a dangerous situation. But yeah,
our guy Ghazi, if he could just read a room.
If you could read a room, bro. If you could read a room,
out here telling homeless man it's okay to be homeless.
That was crazy. I'll never forget when he
said, like, you have true freedom.
I told him to shut the fuck up so fast. I was like, yo, shut up. I was like, bro, don't listen to this guy. Take your ass home. Get your life together.
There's several times where I've had to do that, where I heard someone giving some horrendous advice. I'm just like, no, chill. I was letting y'all have a conversation, but stop. You ruined this person's life. Stop.
Yeah, because then if you get this kid, because it was a young guy, like near our age, man, get this kid raped or something, or like, hurt in the streets.
Stabbed. He fucking unalived out here. He's on the streets, bro.
Yeah. Like, it's not good. Like, so many things can happen. I listened to that and I was like, please, no, don't listen to this guy. You look at the homeless people have you read about how many of them die during winter? Just fucking die out there, sleeping on the streets?
They literally freeze to death, bro.
Man, it's crazy. If someone could develop that skill to the best of their ability, I think they're gonna be in good. They're gonna be in great shape.
It's not even like
in great shape.
It's not even like you need to now pretend to be something you're not. There's in situations like just the other day, this new woman was at our job. She's going off on these tangents talking with the other girl. And I'm reading the conversation. I'm interjecting slightly, but I'm not saying anything. Because one, I'm not that interested in the conversation, but also I didn't have anything to say. So I was just silent and just nodding and like going, Like, so there are moments when if you read the room, you're like, this is not something that I can have an opinion on. Like, I just don't really have an opinion on this, or my opinion isn't really necessary here. Like, there'll be moments when Ray will say something that was exactly as I would have said it, so there's no point for me to say anything. It's like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
same.
yeah, he said it. It's like he said it. Yeah.
Which
But
is
what I was gonna say,
often
though,
why people think that I'm antisocial, or I just like, because like I try not to repeat I feel like if someone says something I said, that's repeating myself. Like I just won't say anything.
You don't believe in your own words, Ray. You don't believe that in your own words. With them in school, and when they want you to
I was about to
participate
say,
in your
this
own
No, I
words.
don't believe in
school
that
gave
shit. That
me
shit's
PTSD.
fucking stupid, bro. It's
School
like
gave
you want me
me
to say the
PTSD.
same thing, but in my own words. That's
I
fucking
remember,
dumb,
I
bro.
remember Carla said, Carla had a retort to that because he brought that expression up, and he was like, in my own words, I'm using the same words as everybody else.
He didn't make up a new fucking language.
Yo, especially it's like I remember like they'd
As
have these
everybody
like
else is using.
they would be like, oh, when's this guy born? It's like he was born in 19. It's like in your own words. It's like, what, nigga?
Yeah,
There's
like
only
when
so many ways I can say that he was born in 1987.
like when we'd be in class, I remember that was the most annoying thing to me on the fucking planet. Them going around in a circle and every student saying the exact same thing. Or like saying like I remember in my English classes especially, or history. History, this would happen to me a lot. Well, the teacher would stop choosing me because this would happen. He would know in history class, you ask me a question, I'm gonna get the question right. Like almost every time I wasn't paying attention and I'd get the question right. Right. I just like history a lot.
Yeah, they gave
Right.
up on me in science class for that. They're like,
Yeah.
there's no point. They leave him alone.
Well, one of the other reasons because I would say something, and now every student is going to say a reiteration of what I said because I got my thing right. So now everyone's just saying the same thing I just said,
But
and
it,
that shit was so annoying watching people do that. Just
it,
keep
would-
saying the same thing over and over again.
them reiterating themselves would make sense if they had this like amazing articulation. Like they could recite that shit like fucking in some Shakespearean way. But it's like,
No,
bro, they
even
just
that.
going
Yeah,
they
even
gonna
then,
flip the
it's the same
If
they gonna
you're
thing.
flip the words.
if you're gonna reiterate it in Shakespearean way, but it's just the same thing the last person said, I don't give a fuck.
I mean,
All
it has no overall substance, but at the very least, it's interesting.
Is it
It's like,
though?
oh
Is it
shit,
interesting?
I
I'd be impressed by that. I would be impressed by that. I'm like, oh shit,
Oh,
teach me how to say things like that.
there you go. Another side effect of me reading too much is I don't find things like that interesting anymore. Like if I'm reading a passage and the person is trying like yeah, I'll be reading these like journal articles, right? Journals, and you could tell the motherfucker is trying so hard to be Hemingway. And I'm reading through shit, I'm like, bro, like you don't have to like this does not have to be this long. I'm like, bro, you could have like come on, man. Like
That's
especially
it.
when you learn how to speed read superfluous language becomes very annoying to you because it messes up your speed reading process where you're just like you're wondering okay like you're scanning through his thing you're like damn this nigga really only said one thing of like meaningfulness in that
Mm.
entire paragraph that's crazy like,
No, speaking of speed reading,
But
I feel like most people should not be taught how to do that.
yeah why do you say that speed
Because
reading
niggas already can't read. So
oh.
now you're teaching these people who can't read how to speed read. And it's like you already couldn't pick up on the nuance before. Now you are definitely not picking up on it now. And
it
like,
just saves it just saves me time like there are some passages that you just don't need to be
yeah,
reading
yeah, yeah, sure. Like I said, like some people just don't need that skill though. It's like, come on, bro. Like you need to pick up on every word because
yeah,
like it'll, bro. It's starting to bleed into like verbal conversations where you'll say something and someone's like, "Oh, so you blah blah blah." It's like, did you not hear what I just said? The amount of times I've had to say that to somebody is like, "So you're just not listening to what I said." And it's like, "No, you said," and they will say something that I did not say at all. And it's like, those are not even the words I used, bro. Like, how did you get that?
they
But
speed read.
they speed
They speed read.
heard,
They
and
speed
it's
read.
just like, yo, stop trying to like pick out keywords.
No, speed hurt. There's no such thing as speed reading in conversation. You just weren't listening.
Yeah, Like they will hear like one key phrase and be like, "Oh, he said, fucking, I don't even know because I don't
No,
do
Yeah,
that
basically,
shit."
I've done it. I've
Ray,
done it. I speed heard. I speed heard.
Ray,
I'm
you
guilty
say
of that. I
something,
speed heard.
they stop listening at that keyword, and everything you've said after that is now coming into their brain and being rearranged into a different version.
Oh, it absolutely is. And like you can like there's another thing you can see on people's face where they like are not listening to you and they're just waiting for you to stop so
Yeah.
they can say what they said. And like, bro, I've literally had like I literally stopped speaking and I was like, yo, bro, I can literally see it on your face like you're talking like you're just waiting for me to just like stop speaking. And they don't even address that I said that and they keep going as like, see, you did not address
Oh
the fact that
man,
I called you out on the
that's
fact that you're not
terrible.
listening, bro. Like you didn't even address that shit. And they're like, then they snap back to reality because like they now realize that I'm calling them out. They're like, "What? I was listening." I was like, "What did I just say?" And they're like,
Yeah.
and it's like, "Exactly. You can't even tell me." So suck my
But
dick.
or something we did. um, so either do you think being a nice guy or the bad boy is the route to
Wait,
success?
what was EJ's question?
No, that's
Oh,
what I'm getting to
we
next. But
still we still on this question, right?
I want
Okay.
to take EJ's take on this first before he gets to his question.
I don't think he was asking about the that wasn't your question though. You wasn't asking about the nice guy, bad boy. You were saying how could someone? You had a
Yeah,
different question.
either what should they do? Like, should it be
What should they
nice
do?
guy, bad boy? Should they do an in between? What should they do?
Well,
Mhm. I definitely would have said bad boy, but if you could pull that off, hey, more props to you. Um, I don't want. This sounds like flat advice, like flat empty advice, and it's
I mean,
taking
before
this.
we continue, on some
Huh?
level, it has to be because you're giving very general advice. So it's not like
Yeah.
can't make it too specific. So it's just gonna sound flat and empty
I
in a sense.
I, I mean,
yo, I can make this really Billy, look at me. She doesn't like you, bro.
She's
She
not
doesn't
thinking
like
about
you, bro.
you. Julian. She's not thinking about you.
Go
Way
hit
too long.
Jim. Go visit Jim, bro. Go visit Jim.
Go,
Cause,
Jim.
cause to me, advice is just so fucking nuanced, bro. You don't know the person. You
Yeah.
don't know what the
You're
person
doing
that they're
exactly what those articles I was talking about was doing, bro.
so nuanced, bro.
No,
It's
no, no, no,
nuanced.
no. Look, bro, you can give advice. You can give general
Yeah.
advice.
I
Just
find myself at odds when it comes to giving
you
advice.
can
Like,
give
dang,
general advice and you can give
I don't want to
specific
ruin
advice,
somebody's
bro.
life.
No, fuck you. They asking for it, bro. They asking for. Look, I can agree with there's certain times where it's like I won't say anything because I know what I say will send you down the wrong path. And I have only gotten to this point because I've talked to enough people to recognize that some people are gonna do the wrong thing regardless. Like I remember I
Or,
told this.
or, or they're not gonna understand what you're trying to tell them and do something
No, I
completely.
know this bitch understood what I said, and she just chose
No,
not to do
I
it.
mean,
I know, but I'm saying
I'm just
like this
adding on. I'm
specifically.
adding on to
Yeah,
it.
but
Yeah.
so I told this girl, I was like, look, man, if you really don't like this guy anymore or whatever, it's like just stop talking to him. You know what she did? She went to him and said in her own words, "I'm not talking to you any." I was like, you stupid bitch. That's included in talking to them, you know. and
That's
it,
because she didn't want to stop, so she went to
Yeah,
go
yeah.
and
So
give.
I'm saying like they were going to always pick the wrong thing. But there are some times, like I said, your words in it 1 year out like that. Your boy Ghazi, he's the one person you can't give advice to because he doesn't want to hear it. He does not want to hear it. He will sit there asking for you to tell him advice, but he don't want it. He don't want it, bro. He wants you to tell him what to do so he can do the opposite just to prove you wrong. That's the
Or
kind of
or
shit he
or
wants.
or he
I
thinks
mean,
because
would he be that person you was describing? Like, there's no point giving advice. They're gonna do the wrong thing regardless.
yes,
Yes.
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 Okay,
But
so
like you can give
what's the
general advice because like there's a lot of things that you're like people are asking about that are just like general human things. Like I feel
Yeah.
like love advice is one of those type of advice. It's like, look, man, like you could look into the camera right now and give us some general advice. It's like,
uh,
look, man, when you're in high school, you're trying too hard. That you're trying too hard. Like
what kind of salvation then is there for those people, the ones that do the wrong thing regardless of what you're
they
telling
got to go to therapy. They have to go to therapy.
them?
They
You're not
need
even
to.
joking.
I'm not joking. They need to go to therapy.
Shit.
There's something wrong with them. I know that's
Um,
like a very no fuck it. There's something wrong with them. They need to go to therapy. I'm not even gonna be nice about it because being nice about it is the reason why they haven't hit therapy yet. Like they need to go to therapy.
because one would say therapy,
No.
Someone
Anyone else who's
another
saying not therapy is wrong. They need
no,
therapy, bro.
I was gonna say the other side of the token is getting hit with a life experience. Hopefully, getting hit with that doesn't cause them any
It's gonna
real
cause them to need
harm.
more therapy, nigga. I would tell you. They're gonna need more therapy.
You got people that's hard headed. You know what I'm saying? So
And
they
you know what's
learn.
therapy? Mental health. They
Yeah,
need
some people
therapy,
can
bro.
afford that, man. That shit expensive, bro. See how much they get
Bro,
paid.
look, I don't know what to tell you, bro. Like, there are
Give us some,
resources. There are
drop some free
resources.
therapists in the chat right now. Drop
You want me to drop some resources? I will research some. What is
some free
what is what
counseling,
is
bro.
what is P-pop? I don't know what that means. So,
Yeah, we need the
Ronaldo
free
is
resources,
P-pop,
man.
but look, some general advice you can give is make your bed. That's some general advice, bro. Like
You gotta lay in it.
that,
All
like
right.
let sleeping dogs lie. There's a plethora of like general advice that like works. Because the whole point of living in a society is that I go through the struggle so you don't have to, right? I've made all these certain types of human mistakes so I can at least impart onto you the knowledge and wisdom. Like, hey, I've been in this situation. Like, I can see that this person is using you. Like,
I think,
you might not hear me now, but one day you are going to come to realize what I was saying to
yeah,
you, and I would hope that it's sooner than later. That's really it.
I think the one thing that I would say along with that is the missteps. You know, like everything in life is. I mean, this is. I know we're not taking it to a grander thing, but life there's full of mistakes. It's full of missteps. And as it pertains to strictly women, um, being okay that you know what I'm saying, it's not gonna be your best day, or you're gonna feel like a fool, or something didn't work. But I would say, at least with advice that is applicable to you, the most applicable to you is when you fail, authentically fail. That's about it. That's about it. Be 100% of yourself when you fail. And when you have to delve into these characters, or when you fail trying to, I'd rather fail being myself 100% than fail trying to be someone else. And it's okay, even if I gotta improve myself, development, so I don't fail as bad. I'll do that. I'll put in the work, but I'm not gonna try to refine something that's not me. So I think that's the biggest piece of advice I could give anyone is go out there, be yourself, and if you fail, pick yourself back up and see what work you have to do internally. But don't do it through deception or some kind of deceit. Do it through you being authentically yourself. That's about it.
Mm. So, what was your opinion though on the on whether or not what a guy should do
Um,
approaching women, like, or trying to should he going for the nice guy route or the bad boy route in the middle? What should
to be more specific, I would say to treat them how they treat anyone, like not even seeing them as a woman, but just seeing them as a person. And I think that's where the disconnect or the mistakes happen. They when you look at them all as oh, this is a woman, she has to be. You start attacking it with these different methods. But if you just look at them point blank as a human being, as a person, someone that you would respect and um, like be courteous to in the same way you would do anyone else. I think that that's probably the best foot to go off of. Um, Obviously, there's going to be certain things that you would do towards a woman that you wouldn't do towards a man. But I think those things that you do more, that's more, that pertains more to them, it has to be coming from a place that doesn't feel forced. It has to feel like that you're respecting her as a woman, right? You're still respecting her as that individual person that she is,
Mm.
You know,
and it's hard to do that.
for your question specifically, I feel like it really just depends on who you are. Like you gotta go at it, as EJ said, authentically. Like if you try to the bad boy route, but you're not that guy, like you're just gonna sound goofy. And
Yeah.
you know, like either way, like you're just gonna sound fake if you're trying to only go a specific route because you think that's the route that will work. And
Yeah.
it's like, do you really want to go that way? Like, do you only really just like you're only gonna you're just gonna you're gonna set yourself up for a bad situation down the line. Where it's like, say it's successful and like you were just pretending, like you're gonna have to keep pretending.
Yeah.
And even if you stop pretending, you're just gonna find out you're with someone you don't want, because if the route that worked was the route that you are not normally privy to, you're gonna attract the kind of person you probably don't want to attract in the first place.
It's like I tried telling one of our boys where he would try to say like crazy, wild things. And I was saying the reason why it's not working is because as you're saying it, the woman, because he'd be saying these things to women, the woman can sense you don't really mean it. She knows you don't really mean it. She can feel the timidness and the hesitation behind it.
Yeah.
That you're not that guy. So she tests your gangster, you know, immediately.
Because if you are that person, you're gonna do as you always say, double down on it. You're in the face of defeat. You're gonna stand strong. Like
It's like I was
yeah,
listening to this old radio show. I think it was the Opie and Anthony show, and this guy wrote into the show talking about how when he tries this personality, or because it was like red pill stuff, but this was like way before the red pill was a thing, really, right? So it was like they pretty much is like, oh, what should I do in regards to women? Pretty much a lot of the red pill stuff you hear about today. And the guy is saying, oh, he tries this persona with women called Lord something. It was
Yeah, I
kind of
remember
dumb.
you talking about this.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, like sometimes I'll be like very like overconfident and over braggadocious, and sometimes they don't like it and all that stuff, right? And the guy was telling him the reason why it's not working is because he's like, even with the corny ass name you made up for it, he was like, it's because you're a nerd trying to do this thing, and they can sense that you don't actually mean it. So they're like, oh, get out of my face. And he was talking about how like when he go like guys don't take this at completely face value, please don't try this at home. But what he said specifically was like, for example, he'll go in for a hug and a kiss from a woman he just met, but the way he does it as if it's something that he always does and it's completely normal to him, and he just does it, and then she just accepts, because like most of the time someone seems to be like, so like they just make something seem really normal. You're just like, okay, I guess this is normal for them, and you do it. And like that's what she did.
People
So
tend
like
to go with the flow a lot, actually.
yeah.
yeah. So that's what he said. He's like, if you really meant it, then as you say it, it'll come off as normal and casual, and she's just gonna accept it. Like this is just how that guy is. And that is definitely true, because like that's what happens with me. I'll say things to women and communicate with women in ways that other people, I tell them the kind of things I've said, and they think that it's crazy that I'm able to talk to them this way. And it's like, it's literally because when I said it, the way I said it, it's just like, it was so like, he really believes this shit. Like, this is just like, he does not care. And they're like, okay, they just accept it. Yeah.
But what's funny when we talk about authenticity, like, and this thought just dawned on me about how I was saying earlier that if you're gonna fail, fail being you.
Yeah.
But people don't have a problem winning when they with winning when they aren't them, right? Like you're gonna reap all the rewards and the benefits of not being you.
Well,
And if it results in your favor, and you're not gonna complain about it, right?
not necessarily. It's like what Ray said, where you're forced to be a person you don't want to be. Like I just saw Mike Tyson talking about this, where he said the years he spent in prison were the happiest years of his life. And the people were like, "Whoa, what do you mean by that?" And he was talking about how he was like, the things he had before, he wasn't happy. He was like, he wasn't happy, and it didn't do anything to like make it to. They didn't add
What
to his
what,
life
what
in
got
any
him
way.
to that point? Because I feel like you had to have gotten to somewhere where you actually could look and look internally and have this deep reflection.
Mhm.
People that this is a conversation about women, but I doubt somebody's gonna have this deep reflection about, damn, I bagged her, but was I being myself?
You'd be
Like
surprised. You'd be surprised.
I do that. I do that a lot. I do that
some
so
some
much.
some people could hold themselves accountable for that, but I think other people were just like, She don't even know. Like I really got ahead, but in reality, you didn't. You didn't. You're the real loser. You won, but you didn't really win. But so I think that takes a level of maturity that some people don't have.
But in regards to your second question, why don't
Oh
you?
yeah, my second question was how does a guy treat a woman nice without it coming off as simping? Right? How do they do that? because I feel like everything gets thrown into that. You
How do
know,
you
Well, I feel
feel?
like you just have to have your boundaries, and like there's certain things you're like, yeah, I'm not doing that. Like, I feel like that's really where the line is, where you're just like, yeah, I'm not doing that. Like,
if you lose your self respect, right?
I guess, I guess you can think of it that way, but
There'll be the
I
guy
don't know how else
across the street.
to describe it. For for example, like if it's me, right? Yeah, I don't really care
You don't
if I
care,
like
yeah.
buy you a meal or anything. Like that doesn't mean anything to me. But like I probably won't like buy you makeup. Like you can't just like I just won't just like straight up like just buy you makeup for no reason. Like I'm just like
Yeah.
no, buy your own makeup. Like
That's funny you mention that because a woman at work was telling me about some girl that she used to fool around with, and the girl sent her like a like a Cash App request or something for $50. And she was like, she just found it weird because it's like we haven't even talked in a long time. You just sent me this random request. She was like, she just thought it was like her taking advantage of her. And she told me she sent it anyway. And I was just like,
what
she
do you
was
mean
like,
you
oh,
sent
because
it
she
anyway?
has a kid and stuff. So I was just trying to be nice.
I was like,
And I remember I
that's
was
not
like, I
being
wouldn't have,
nice anymore.
I was like, I wouldn't have sent, I was like, I wouldn't have sent her shit. I was, we haven't talked for like a month, and you sending me a $50 Cash App request. I was like, that's weird.
Yeah, like, you remember that person who like randomly hit me up asking for my Netflix password?
Yeah,
Like,
oh, that was crazy. Yeah,
I just didn't reply because I was like, well, giving her the password that's not nice. Like that's not nice if I give her the password. That's just like what the fuck am I doing, bro? Like what are
I
we
mean,
doing here?
it could be nice,
Yeah.
but um,
Because
you can,
that
you know,
that word simping is overused, man. I hate hearing it sometimes because, like, all right, bro, just say you wouldn't do that, bro. Just say you wouldn't do that. Like, everybody got to be a simp because they do something that they think is just generally a nice thing you would do. They're being a good person to them. That's simping. Like, a guy will see you from across the street doing something for your girl that you think is really showing your care and affection and being there for her, and it's coming from a genuine place. Ah, look at this guy, he's simping. Ah. Look at
Mhm.
this. Ah, come on, man.
that's
How
where I think
did you stoop so low? How?
that's where
You
I think it
know?
becomes stupid when you're projecting your values into someone else's relationship without knowing
Yeah,
enough
bro.
about that person's relationship. But it's like you said, it's like simping usually relates to overextending yourself, and there's not an even flow. You know what I mean?
You're gonna feel it. You're definitely gonna feel it. If you're
Like a fucking
overextending yourself, you're gonna
wheelchair.
feel it.
Yeah. If
Which
there's
one?
no even if you're doing all the work and you're fucking Atlas holding the relationship up, then you're simping, you know? Like, yeah. And she's like not doing shit, she's sitting on top of the planet as you're holding it. Yeah, like yeah, you're simping at that
If
point.
that shit feel like chores for you, then yeah,
Yeah, you're simping.
definitely.
But then if it's like if you're like, oh, you get your girl, I don't know, you massage your girl's feet, I don't know, on Valentine's Day, and you're rubbing the oils on there or something, and like, yeah, you might post something like that on the internet, and people are making fun of you, like, damn, this nigga dumb, bad. It's like, no, he's just making his
Ah,
girlfriend happy.
he whipped. Ah,
Yeah,
she
like,
got him
cause,
Cobra clutch.
yeah, because no one says shit if the girl is down on her knees, freaking polishing his pole,
Yeah,
and really going for it. Is she down bad because she's doing that? No, she's just doing
Yes.
what she got to do to make him happy, right?
and then even with the overextending yourself, right? Because there's a part in there where people do that because of not necessarily simping, but like you deeply care about them, right? So it's not like because sometimes people get confronted with that where they have to do that because that's the way that's the way they express themselves, right? Or that's the way that they can demonstrate that. But it's not necessarily, and it might feel like work, but that is what might accomplish that or express, get that message across. That's what you might have to do.
I mean, sometimes you still have to work on that too, though, because that can be a problem in your life where you spend a lot
True,
of time overextending for people, and
true.
and it can
And it's a backlash, yeah.
Yeah, it could derail your life.
or backfire. Yeah.
And then on the flip side, it could be you never do enough, and that could also derail your life. You get in relationships and
Yeah.
you're not even doing the bare minimum, and then you get left very often because
And it'd be funny. These same guys that talk about, oh man, don't simp for your woman, man. Don't
you're always
don't be-
simple.
don't bend over backwards. Nah, not even. I wasn't even gonna say that. But yeah, that is true. Some of them do say that, push that message, and end up doing the opposite. But these people be more loyal to their homies. That be backstabbing them. They ready to die, take a bullet for their mans more than they would for their own woman, bro. The same woman they coming home to.
I
That's
feel
providing them love and support, and it'd be like, damn,
you
bro.
gotta be loyal to your homies too, though. Like,
Nah, you do. I ain't even saying you can't do. I'm not saying you can't do both, but they be treating they girl like dirt,
Oh,
and they
that
be
that
like,
reminds me now. I got
they
a
be like,
hypothetical
yeah,
for
one
you
for the
guys now.
homie.
You just reminded me of something.
Wait, save the hypothetical.
Yeah.
And
But how do you guys feel about that? Like how
the nice guy thing.
no, I'm saying like how that is a difference in
Well, I'll say
the
two
way
things.
they yeah.
So first, I'll answer your original question. I think you guys mentioned a lot of the things that I was thinking about and I've thought about this a lot. I think a lot of it's just like being yourself, being authentic is part of it. And it's like Ray said, there's a level of like he said earlier in regards to the other question. You kind of have to look at where things are in a case by case basis, and then you act accordingly, right? But when it comes to doing things that are kind or nice without bearing into simping territory or becoming unattractive, it's more so like you have to realize that as you're getting to know someone, there are certain levels of niceness that can veer into like what's the word I'm looking for? Being too pushy. Like when someone first meets you and they start trying to act like you got this deep bond and friendship right away real fast, like that's very unnerving. That can be a very unnerving thing. That bothers me when people do stuff like that. It makes me suspect them. And I was like, what the fuck is up with this person? Why are they acting like this? That happens to me a lot. I'll start getting suspicious right away if someone starts trying too hard to be nice, right? And it turns a lot of the time when people are like that, it turns out they really were trying to get something from you or something's wrong with them. So one, you got to be like, you don't overdo it, is what I would say. Like if you're doing something and you have to stop and think, I don't think you should do it. like 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 for example, you meet this girl and you're like, oh yeah, I really like her. I'm gonna get her all these chocolates and stuff. But if you have to pause and be like, I wonder if if we know each other well enough for me to do that yet. Don't do it. don't do it. If you got to stop and think, don't do it. But like having some casual conversation with her, getting her a coffee or something, things like that. I think you should focus more on small acts of kindness rather than big acts of kindness and gradually work your way up. And I think that's a great way to do it without coming off as like a weirdo or something or too needy and pushy. And
Mhm.
again, being authentic to yourself, not doing nice things because you want to come off as nice or you're trying to get her to like you can do nice things to get in her pants, sure. But don't do nice things to try and to seem like a nice guy. Because
Yeah.
then
Like, if you're trying to like social engineer her to be like, she's gonna think I'm such a nice guy.
yeah, that kind of stuff is goofy, right? Um and even if you don't be out here, a lot of people want to socially engineer, then they're not the guys to be socially engineering. They think they light
You gotta be
Yagami.
social to engineer, bro.
Exactly. They out here thinking they like Yagami when they really the version that's an anime house. Where like the version in the anime house making the bitch ass little plays and then like fucking
Failing.
destroys them immediately.
Failing, bro.
Yeah. That's the
Oh man, I
that
forgot my wallet. It's right here.
yeah, they're that version of like Yagami.
Oh man.
But yeah. And in regards to what you said, I've seen both sides where I've seen people who like they get in a relationship and it's like time to treat my homies like dirt. And like they're just like it's weird.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know
that's
why
true. That is true. That is
people are
true.
people are fucking weirdos. It's like they have this weird thing where I don't know. It's like
Yeah.
two things can't be true at once in many people's heads, right? So it's like for some reason in their head, they can't think in their minds, these are friends of mine that are close to me. They're close to me, and this is my woman that is close to me. No, instead it must become this battle. It's like to make sure she know that she underneath my homies and my homies with me for life. Or it's like I gotta make sure my homies know that when it comes to my girl, she always gonna take It's like no, it's like just come on, just be a normal guy. It's okay. So I feel like you're right. It does happen, especially in the black community. A lot of black men try really fucking hard to be on that treating their girl like dirt, and they homies, they homies are, what do they say? Bros before hoes, like they really do
Ride
be
or
on that
die.
die hard. Yeah, they be, and it's real dumb because those same homies they sitting there repping for so hard will be fucking their girl behind their back. But you know, whatever.
To be real, I was gonna say the minute that the minute that he gets into a relationship, instantly this wall comes up. This
Exactly.
invisible wall. It's just like, bro, why'd you have to put barriers? Why'd you
Yeah,
have to
you
make this a battle? This is not a saga. Like,
doesn't
you
have
know
to
what I'm
be.
saying? This is not
Yeah,
a
no, I
saga, bro.
always think that shit's so goofy. He's like, oh, yo, you trying to watch the game later? Nah, I can't. I got a girl.
Yeah, remember the guy I used to make fun of? The my God.
My God. I was like,
Man,
if man's
like
just suddenly out of nowhere being like, oh, man, you know me and my girl. It's like, yo, come on. Relax yourself.
are
Like,
you not an adult? Like, you
you've been
can't
dating
make
for
time
5 minutes,
for
bro. Come on. Relax yourself.
for different people in your life. Like, I don't
Like,
understand that.
the worst we had it was our boy in high school who literally just stopped associating with us. That was crazy. That shit's still crazy to me.
Dude, it
That
was
he did
like,
that. That was
he was like,
insane.
oh, I'm dating this person now, so I can't hang out with you guys anymore.
I was like, what the fuck?
And it's like,
And then as soon as they broke up, there he is coming back, tail between his legs. You know, it's like, bro, it's like you didn't have to do that shit to begin with. Everything could
honestly,
have
it's
been
like
done.
you should take note of people like that and cut them out of your life. TBH, like
Yeah, you
they
know, I think about that shit now. I think about this now that a lot of people that we stopped being friends with, there were many clues
it's like we should have stopped being friends with them a long time ago.
along the course of our friendship. I'm like,
I ain't
yo,
gonna
bro.
lie, if that happened to me where this guy had to tuck his tail between his two legs and come try to come back into the friend group, I would have been like, damn, bro. I ain't gonna lie, you're not accepted here no more. You got a better chance to try to get Shorty back.
And it's
What
like
we do? What we doing? What we doing, y'all? Oh, all right, we over here. All right.
it's like, and like this, there are nuances to it because I feel like when you're young,
Now
it's
you made
like
those mistakes. You made those
yeah, so
mistakes.
it's like when you're
Yeah.
young, it's like fine, but like when you're 35,
No, see, I feel like that guy though overdid it. Like it's one thing to like you're not hanging out with your friends as much, but this guy made concerted efforts to be away. Like he was like, come on, man.
yeah,
Like it was sad.
he even
It was sad.
tried. And it's like, brother,
I feel like that conversation need
you
to
sit
happen
next to
though.
them in class. You do
Yeah.
all this. Is like you can't even have lunch with your boys no more. That was
Yeah.
Yeah, we
crazy.
told him it was goofy. We told him it was goofy.
But like you said, like you looking back, it's like he probably wasn't really our friend. We were probably the only people he was talking to at the time.
Yeah, yeah,
It was
yeah.
just like it was
Yeah,
like
y'all was good filler. Y'all was good filler.
friendship by proximity type shit. Because I mean, you saw what happened the second he went to a different school. He never talked to us again.
Yep. And then the moment he started meeting different kinds of people, he began to think he was better than us.
Yeah.
And then he
If I
left.
ever if I ever did some fake shit like that, like I ain't gonna lie, and I tried to get back into the friend group, I'm holding myself 100% accountable. I'm like, damn,
Bro, it couldn't even cross
I
my
really,
mind to
I would
dub
never do nothing
somebody
like that. But
and then be like, damn, man, I should go back. I couldn't even think. It was like,
yeah,
damn, I should go back and like,
I got too much pride to do that shit too.
The only thing I would do
This
is
is what I was
apologize.
doing.
The only
yeah,
thing I would
like
do is
I do
I'll
some shit
apologize.
like that.
I'll
I was
probably
like,
apologize. Yeah,
I was bugging. That's my fault. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. Yeah, I was out of
Yeah, you don't
pocket.
got to do nothing. I'm just
I gotta
apologizing.
do
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
I've done that before. Like there was a girl that girl I was dating drove a wedge between me and this girl and ruined our friendship. And there was a time from an old account, and I never went back and checked to see if she responded or anything. I apologized to her, explained to her everything. There was like a long ass message. Sent it, logged out of the account, and never logged back in. I was
yeah,
like, okay, that's all I needed to say. I never checked to see if she saw it
yeah.
or messaged her again. I was like, I just wanted
Imagine
to
she was
apologize.
like, "Oh my god, I've missed you so much. I've always been in love with you."
Ah, jeez. I mean, I just figured we were past the point where there was no point in like it has been so long. It didn't really seem like no friendship could re-erupt from that. But you could. It's happened before. I went back, and one of my closest friends was just some random girl that I knew from another group. And when I hit her up again randomly, we just became friends. We became
Came back from the dead.
yeah. But what was your hypothetical there, right?
Oh, I remember watching this video. Let me just explain to you where I got
What's
this
up,
from.
Steve? You forgot.
No, I remember. I was watching this video, and the question that was being asked was, would you, if your girl's pregnant and she's like about to give birth, like, and your homie's dying in the hospital, where are you going?
Mm.
Wow. Oh,
When you say homie, like this the homie?
Your homie, your dog, he is dying
okay.
in the
Here's the thing.
hospital,
Your
but
man's
your
gonna be your
wife
man's, bro.
is giving
Here's the thing.
birth.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. He's literally fucking dying. Like I'm never gonna see this nigga again. I think I'm gonna have to go. He's dying. Like it's crazy. To imagine.
When you emphatically said that, he's literally fucking dying.
Yeah, imagine like telling him, "Yeah, I'm sorry, bro. He's gonna have to die alone. Like I know we're best friends, but I'm sorry. You're just gonna have to die alone. Like I'm gonna see that baby again
The kid
someday."
understand. The kid understand, bro. Like, yo, your
Yeah,
uncle Ray Ray, he died, man. He died, and I had to be there for him. I had to be there for
yeah,
Ray Ray, man. But we got a
because that's
lifetime of memories
crazy.
together. We're gonna have a lifetime.
Yeah, because that's imagine, bro. Like, imagine how, like, tell me, Ray, you would feel like shit. Where it's like, let's say you're on your last limbs, you're dying, and you're just like, yo, I just want to see Gio one last time. You're like, I honestly just want to see Gio. It's like, yeah, we had some good times together.
That's a shitty situation to be in. You telling me one of the happiest, what's supposed to be the happiest day of your
Yeah,
life.
but imagine like you're
That's
like
crazy.
even you, EJ, you're just like, yo, I just want to see that person one last time, just one last hour, and then you call them and they're like, yo, I'm sorry, bro, but like I'm not gonna be able to make it. Yeah, like tell me that shit would not crush you. Tell me that
Bruh.
you probably die as soon as you got the call. Like, you know,
Nah, you gotta live
like
in,
that.
you gotta live on just to spite them. He's like, nah, bro,
That
I'm
gotta be
not.
that gotta be
Your
happy for
fucking
my
vitals
kid.
go up. He's like,
Like,
I'm not dying like this, bro. I'm not dying like a. But what about you, EJ? You want to see the
I'm about to
homie?
be there. Yeah, I gotta be there for the homie,
Gotta
man.
be there for homie.
Gotta be there. I'm a feel mad, mad regret. Like I'm gonna just
Bro, I
be
feel like every time you looked at your kid, you would feel regret. Like
You'd
you would
remember,
see
you'd be
your
mad.
homie, the one that you didn't go see in his last moments. Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Ray?
Oh,
Same thing?
I absolutely, I'm gonna go see the homie. The fuck, it's not even a question. It's not a question.
good shit.
Which, just so you know, the guy who was asked the question was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go see the homie," and the interview was trying to make him feel bad. He's like, "Nah, that's the homie. Like, I will see that kid again. I'll take care of the kid. Like,
Yeah, exactly like I said. You'll see him again. It's not like
and
the kid
it's
is.
like, yeah,
Not
she'll
like,
be mad for a bit, but like, I don't know what to tell you, bro. Like,
honestly, I
Yeah.
feel like if she's mad, something's wrong with her, and you might have impregnated the wrong woman. You know
I mean,
what I'm
I'm
saying?
gonna go to the
I
hospital.
can
I'll
see
try to
why she would
FaceTime.
be mad in the moment, though. I'll let her be mad in the
Yeah, yeah,
moment.
yeah, yeah.
But if she's mad forever after two, nah, I'm like, yo,
Yeah,
I have
yeah,
to
because
see. You have to
it's
sit
not
down and
like
like, yo, like my
it's not
homie
like
died, bro.
it's not like the kid is gonna be born, look at you, go deuces, and open a portal and go to another dimension. Like it's not.
Imagine the kid comes out, there's no dad. Nah, bro. Statistically, single homes.
Fucking takes out his own umbilical cord. You know. Well, okay,
And,
okay.
FaceTime exists. I'll try to video call from wherever
I'm
I'm
not
at to go
video
see it.
calling you if I'm with the dead homie, bro. Nothing else matters, bro. The world is
Hey,
not real in
you
this moment,
you
bro.
video calling her, you're like, yo, look, yeah, this is Todd. He dead now, but it's like he died, but he said to say hi before before he left.
I mean, maybe if he has some time and like the baby is born, like, he's like, look,
Oh,
see,
show him the
yeah,
baby. Yeah,
show him the
show him.
baby. But like,
Yeah,
if it's like
Thanks.
like
Yeah,
in
this
the
this sounds
final
like a
moments,
drama.
nah, I'm not
Bro.
calling nobody in his final moments, bro.
man,
It's a
that's
drama film right here. What the fuck? That's crazy. Like, yo, bro, look at what you could have been a part of, bro.
okay. Okay, I got another.
that's
I got
that's
another.
crazy.
I
You
got, I
say
got,
that,
I
say
got, I got
that.
two. I got two dark situations, right?
Oh man,
Dark as
Okay,
hell.
what if the homie's dying and like your kid is about to be born, but you know that the kid is gonna die. The kid is gonna be dead soon.
the kid is gonna be
Like
born stillborn.
yeah. So like, what if you now have that
Wait,
choice?
I have this information and I ain't told the doctor or nobody. I just kept this shit to
Let's say
myself,
someone
bro.
doctor knew that the complication, if the baby
And
came
I
out, they
didn't
would.
abort the baby. You could terminate pregnancy at like that
You don't
point.
forget
Like,
that
come
question.
on, bro. What's wrong with you?
Forget that one.
Which to say is, I'm going to see the homie. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I'm seeing the homie.
I'm seeing the homie 9 times out of
Here,
10, bro.
Yeah.
What if your mom is on her last breath or the homie?
Come on,
Now I gotta go
man.
see my
Come on, you
mom,
can't
bro.
do that.
I gotta go see the mom.
The homie tell me go see your mom, nigga. Be like, yo, go see mom's, bro.
Yeah, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yo. If you showed up at my deathbed and you was like, yeah, my mom was in an accident, I would probably smack the shit out of you. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro?
Why are you
I'm
here,
already
bro?
dead, bro. Go away. Like, leave. I don't want to see you no more.
My mom's dead, bro. She died 5 minutes before I got here.
I would probably spend my last 5 minutes yelling at you for being such a dumbass. I'd be like, yo, I appreciate it, but you're fucking stupid, bro.
She told me to come.
Nah, you should have been like, I'm good. I'm staying with you, bro. You telling me she was with you through life, you couldn't be with her in death, bro? Come on, bro.
Let's take this to another crazy route. Let's say your dad gets in an accident somewhere and they can't move him, so they got him in another hospital.
Come on.
And then your mom at the
All right,
same
guys,
time.
I'm gonna see you guys later. That's the end of the stream. I'll catch you. I'll catch you. Nah, I'm not answering the question. I refuse.
This is the same shit. It's like, oh, you got one life. Was it life saving rap?
Bro. The fifth.
What about
who you picking? Oh, I ain't answering that, bro. I ain't answered that.
I mean, for me, it's definitely my mom. My dad's a dickhead, so choose my mom.
I think I know who I would pick. I just don't want to. It's disrespectful to say it. It's like what the answer would be, but come on, I can't do that to them.
All right, do that. Your homie or the dog you've had your entire life.
I can't just take the dog with me, bro.
No, the dog is dying.
I'm not a pet person, so I'm picking the homie. So
I'm saying, like, what if this is a pet you've built that bond with, the one you've had your whole life?
I'm not a pet person. I don't have to tell you.
No, I think you just wouldn't be able to visualize it. But I mean, like, because some people, when they have that animal with them their entire lives.
Yeah, like it's definitely a question for them. But like you said, like I personally cannot, because I've had pets. I've had pets for like a while, and then they died. I was like, damn. Anyway. Like my fish died. And I was like, bro, I think my exact words with my fish. I had that fish for like what, a year, 2 years.
And no one ever cares when their fishes die. Don't even use that.
But I'm just saying, like, I was just like my exact words. It's kind of goofy. I was like, is that nigga dead? And then I went to sleep.
I mean, you had that fish when you were way older, though.
I've had fish when I was younger too.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like the reaction that you're talking about was when he was older, right?
Yeah.
When you were older, yeah.
I literally looked at the foot of my bed. I was like, I think he's floating.
What hurt more, your fish died or when that guy was stabbing you with the pencil?
When my fish died, definitely.
Are you done yet? So we answer the boat.
Anyway, I think we're done now. I think we're gonna leave on this somber note.
I got one more hypothetical.
No, you don't. Nah, he's done.
The
hypothetical is like, are you gonna end the stream now or are you gonna end it next week?
No, the hypothetical is, okay, your homie's in the hospital, he's dying, but your hairline been suffering for a long time.
Anyway, we'll see you guys later. I'll catch you guys in the same place. Oh my god.
You exit out, cover the hell.
You fucking asshole, bro.